It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, did the NCAA go soft on Michigan? No vacated wins, no title strips, just a $30 million fine, and that 2023 championship banner still hanging. Fair punishment or just a slap on the wrist? We'll sound off. We'll want your take as well. And D-backs blast past the Rockies 8-2 behind Eduardo Rodriguez's best outing as a Diamondback. And coming up, the Cardinals rest the vets, but the rookies hopefully will shine in Denver, who will make the strongest push for this football season. That's all coming up today on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We'll have Tom Candiotti this hour. We'll have Scott Spreitzer next hour. And then in the third hour, it'll be Kurt Warner. So full show today, but the news did come down starting nationally with Michigan and the fact that they got a slap on the wrist, Manuch.
I would agree.
Just be honest.
There's
no other way to break this down, and we're going to be all over it today, but just to kind of give you a rundown of what happened here. They're selling it, at least ESPN.com and some other very liberal sites are basically saying the NCAA lowered the boom on Michigan. Screw you. You did not lower the boom. No postseason ban. These infractions by the committee have been long waited. We've been waiting for them for a long time, and it all stems from the sign stealing scandal, the year that they won the championship. Now, here are the key penalties. Estimated fines, $30 million, a $50,000 base fine, 10% of Michigan's football budget, which is projected about $7 million plus, 10% of the cost of the 2025 scholarships, and loss of any postseason revenue share from the Big Ten for this year or next year. Now, Coach Moore, he gets a 2-year show cause penalty. He gets a 3-game suspension. He'll do 2 this year against Central Michigan and Nebraska, which I find surprised it's Nebraska. And then next year will be Western Michigan when they play in Germany. The suspension includes game weeks, so no practice involvement per the NCAA rules. Jim Harbaugh, the former coach, of course, is now with the Chargers. He gets a 10-year show cause, and that starts after his current 4-year show cause that he got during COVID. Now, of course, he's coaching for the LA Chargers. Now, Connor Stallions, he's the kid who basically created this KGB network. He got an 8-year show cause for orchestrating the off-campus sign-stealing scheme. The assistant coach, Denard Robinson, got a 3-year show cause for recruiting violations and failure to respond to the charges. So, Michigan football, 4 years probation, recruiting restrictions, no postseason ban, and their 2023 national championship remains intact. That is what happened. No postseason ban is my biggest question.
I agree.
That is the one I struggle with. Now, you could take away the fact that I'm a Buckeye fan and you want to see Michigan, have issues and have challenges, but I'm not going in that way at all. I didn't go to Ohio State. I'm just a fan. However, I look at this and I'm just saying no wins vacated, no titles stripped. They get to keep their national championship despite all the cheating accusations during that season. I mean, come on. That is bull, what.
Accusations, they got proof. Yeah. I mean, the thing that really rubs me the wrong way, and I look at a lot of other schools that have had lesser, I would say, infractions and have gotten more than this. And I can only go back to when my junior year at K-State, they passed out 13 extra scholarships, unbeknownst to us. Following year, we were on a 2-year probation. We were banned from any playoffs. They cut our scholarships, I think, by 13. There's no fine in those days or what have you. And I'm sitting there, well, wow, look, they passed out 13 extra scholarships, 2-year ban from any kind of bowl games. In those days, it was bowl games because there were no playoffs. And then it was pretty much they took scholarships away. Don't know about the fines. That wasn't as egregious or covert operations as this was. And I look at this guy, the Stallion, who's a Navy grad. It was literally covert operations with the staff he had, the filming they had, the tickets that they went and bought to get him in there. I can understand you going and scouting, your forward scouting with your scouts going to games with your opponents, but not getting on the sidelines, not filming, not getting the tickets, not getting all the things that they did. This was well planned out. This was what we call premeditated, Roc. So if it's premeditated, shouldn't that, I guess, time fit the crime that they have here? And my whole thing is, I would love to have seen a 2-year ban from any playoffs. I'd love to have seen, if you take the championship away, that would have some meat to it. So I think what you might be alluding to, what I'm alluding to, there's really no meat in this. Yeah, it's a fine, 2-year probation. The coach has got us suspended for 3 games. Harbaugh's down the road. I don't even understand why they film another 8 years on top of his show cause. He'll never come back now he won't, to college football. To me, if the NCAA wants to really, really show and have any kind of a deterrent from this ever happening again, they should use Michigan as the poster child. They really should, and they should put more teeth into this, more fines, more bans, more all the above, that this never, ever happen again. And you got to imagine that Jim Harbaugh, he already had one foot out the door when you throw more at him at this point in time. So I go along with you. I'm very, very disappointed. But you know, Roc, it's the NCAA. They've gone soft. They've been inconsistent. And by the way, this Michigan team, this program, they cut a pretty big check. They're pretty big as far as football is concerned. And I got to believe, I think the NCAA cowed down to Michigan on this one.
You can really only compare it, and not even to the same level as what happened in 2012 with Penn State. That was one of the harshest NCAA penalty packages ever. It was later reduced, but that came out in July of 2012 with them getting a $60 million fine. They had a four-year postseason ban. They had scholarship cuts. They had to vacate all their wins from 1998 to 2001. Joe Paterno's record dropped from 409 wins to 298. Now, it all got later restored in 2015. Then they had some athlete transfer waivers and things like that they had to deal with. But, I'm sure these schools, like a Penn State, which during this time that they made that run to Michigan, made that run to win their championship, they lost to Penn State. They lost to Michigan. And you say to yourself, you're a coach, well, maybe they stole some signs in that game. That was the difference, because it was a close game. I think they only lost by a touchdown.
You can only assume that something was there. But again, I'm just the well thought out, as I call premeditated way. And on top of whether a Harbaugh and his staff to say, hey, look, guys, I know you bring this information, but everybody's complicit with this. I mean, he's bringing this information back. And if you're a coach or a head coach, this is wrong. This is illegal. This is cheating. And you're like, well, there's nothing to see here. What do you have over there? Are those the signals? I mean, it was so complicit with all the individuals that knew what was going on. I'm just very curious to see how many coaches they go back to that Stallion was reporting to or getting this information to. Now, starts at the top. I get it, understand it. But those guys are down the road. And as far as, to your point, Roc, how much of this affected them to win the national championship? This started in 2021, went through to 2023, and moving forward. So how much of that was like, I don't know, when the Houston Astros, they're cheating at escapades in the World Series, the Boston Red Sox, they're cheating escapades in the World Series. I mean, when you talk about a team making a run and winning a national championship under this pretense, I don't know, do we put an asterisk by this national championship by Michigan now? I mean, what are the other ramifications that they got to think about that being the NCAA?
NCAA fell short in a few things. They let them keep their championship right there, okay? For a school that generates hundreds of millions of dollars, a $30 million fine is manageable, especially long-term, that they don't have to get it paid right away. No on-field sanctions. I mean, it means that the punishment feels more financial than they care about the moral or the integrity of what happened, because fines hurt,
sure,
but it's more, but the integrity. I mean, what does this tell you? You could argue that this signals that, and no pun intended, as you would say, if you're going to cheat, win big. Worst case, you just write a check.
Sure,
get the championship, doesn't matter. I mean, this was calculated, as you said, and this This may deter lower tier programs, but not the powerhouses. They got the deep pockets. They got the donor pockets. The guys can write the checks. I mean, this is very easy for them. So you look at Tennessee, they got hit with 18 level 1 violations just a year and a half ago. They only received an $8 million fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at Michigan, they just got 6 level 1 violations. They have a national title, and they don't lose any bowl bans. They don't lose any wins or games. It's just
there's not enough teeth in this bite, Rock. There really isn't. I mean, so to your point, I like that. You'd say, hey, look, cheat all you want. Looks like precedent's been set. All we have to do is just pay off a fine. We might get a coach that gets a show cause. You might get suspended because we're not going to have our title taken away or our conference championship taken away. We're just going to have the coach suspended for a few games, and then we'll pay the fine. And you know what? We'll just make sure we don't get caught, because if we do, there's no precedent in this. There's no deterrent for anybody else to do this. I don't care if you're NAIA or you're FBS or FCS. Where's the bite in this? And again, the NCAA, I agree with you, falls way, way short. I've seen lesser infractions with more hammering than I've seen with this one.
All right, our State 48 Roofing, it's your call question of the day, which can be found on our Twitter and Instagram page. Just search Roc and Manuch. Did the NCAA go too soft on Michigan? Your 4 choices are no vacated wins, no strip title. 2, $30 million, big question mark, pocket change for Big Ten powerhouse. Number 3, if this doesn't cost you a championship, what does? And then 4th and finally, dangerous precedent, win now, pay later. So get into that. All right, we got our replay rewind coming up next. We got some D-backs as their offense explodes early. And Torey Lovello says this team is locked in. We'll also hit some joint practice sound from the Denver Broncos and the Arizona Cardinals. And as Trey McBride, he broke down some big-time reps as well as Wilson Sr. So we'll get into all that next. It's a replay rewind live from Wright Toyota.
Football is back, and Big's American Bar and Grill at P83 is your home for football. Preseason action, regular season madness, and the perfect place to host your fantasy football draft. All happening at Big's. Ice-cold drinks, loaded burgers, and wall-to-wall TVs. Right across from the Peoria Sports Complex at 83rd Avenue in Bell. Head to BigsPeoria.com to lock in your fantasy draft party now. Big's, where the West Valley goes for football.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool Products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Parents, we need to talk about teen violence. It's hurting our kids and our communities.
Seeing how violence impacts our kids is heartbreaking. We need to step up.
It affects everyone. So when it comes to teen violence videos, do the right thing. Report it. Don't repost.
The Maricopa County Attorney's Office is committed to keeping our community safe and free from teen violence. Let's work together to report videos of violence instead of reposting them. Together, we can create a safer community.
Your child is sick. With those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
Think you can handle a few drinks and still drive safely? Think again. Buzzed driving is drunk driving, and drunk driving can land you in serious trouble. In Arizona, there's zero tolerance for impaired driving. Even one drink can cost you thousands in fines and legal fees. Plus, take away your driver's license. So plan ahead. Use a designated driver or rideshare. Get the facts at drivesober.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Now it's time for our Replay Rewind, the top sounds of the night and whatever Roc decides to add. Let's get to it in Replay Rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD-2.
Swung on, that is hit high and deep to right field. Going back, looking up, it is gone! First pitch homer for Jose Herrera. That is his second of the season. And the Diamondbacks open up a 5-0 lead here in the second.
Herrera goes yard early. He got to help jumpstart this offense against the Colorado Rockies last night as we get into our Replay Rewind. We're out here at Wright Toyota here on ESPN 620 98.7 HD2. And make sure you can watch us on YouTube. Just search Roc and Manuch. All right, so post-game sound. Here's Torey Lovello and on what made that swing click and why Herrera's moment set the tone.
He's so easy to root for. He's a great teammate. He's always the first one in line to root for his teammates. So when it's our turn to cheer for him and watch those accomplishments, it's a great moment. He doesn't try to hit home runs. He can hit home runs. He just wants to see pitches, control the zone, have quality at bats. And in this case, he jumped on a first pitch. It was a great moment.
You know, one thing about Herrera, he DH'd a couple times, been in the outfield. He's catching. I believe Manny Marino's down in up in Reno and getting some playing time in, trying to get himself ready. He and Pavin Smith. But this is one of those young guys that he's kind of a multifaceted player. Roc, he can run, catch, outfield, DH, wherever they need him. And nice to see him get a little traction here at the end of the game. And he's one of the last 8 to 9 games that's really performed for this team, and they're glad to see him starting to come around.
All right, here's Lovello continuing on after last night, praising his team early on.
It's part of our recipe. It's part of our culture. Patience through the entire at bat. Put pressure on the pitcher to throw the ball over the plate. And if you don't get your pitch, you check off on it. Lourdes gets credit for the 3-run home run, but it doesn't happen without those two guys. And their pitcher looked like he was on the attack early with an aggressive fastball, but we made him put the ball on the plate. We had him out of the game at 3 1/3 or 3 2/3. So a real credit to what we do here from an offensive standpoint that's set up by our hitting coaches, and they do a great job of sending their message.
He also went on to talk about even with the momentum, he warns the Rockies aren't a pushover.
We want to check every box when we're here. We want to go out and play a complete game. We're not going to take anything for granted. Like I said, that team across the field is very capable of putting up big numbers. So we're not going to take anything for granted. We're a good baseball team right now, and we're playing the way I want us to. So I want that to continue for sure.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the key for them, Roc. You just can't take it for granted. Got 3 more to go. Hopefully you can win 3 out of 4, all 4. Because after this weekend's over, all the big boys, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dodgers, I mean, your schedule for the following 36, 37 games are going to be playoff contenders or those teams trying to make a wild card. So take advantage of it. And as he mentioned, just don't look beyond that inning. Just try to make as much as you can and pound it and stay on top of these guys.
Yeah, Tom Candiotti in about 5 minutes. Let's shift to the Cardinals-Broncos joint practice takeaways. And here's the head coach of the Broncos, Sean Payton, as he gives props to Arizona and how both teams handled their work.
I thought both teams were outstanding, just relative to the tempo, the communication. I can't think, it's probably my 12th joint practice, but one of the better ones. Overall, I was pleased with it. I know Jonathan was as well.
When I hear that, it's pretty much sounds like everything was coordinated with the Cardinals fairly well to make sure that they got the most out of the joint practice. Because if both coaches, which appears right now, Denver may play a few of their starters. It looks like the Cardinals are not as of now. That could change going into tomorrow's game. That they want to make sure they got the most out of it. And the only thing I can think of, Roc, is they tried to treat this like a quasi preseason game. A lot of 1-on-1, 7-on-7s. Some scrimmages, guys practicing against each other in a high intense way, making sure nobody got hurt in that manner. But I think what he's saying is you got 2 teams, a playoff team in the Denver Broncos in a team like the Cardinals trying to make the playoffs that are fairly intense and not just going through the motions. That's what I hear in Sean Payton's voice.
Here's Cards tight end Trey McBride about what he's getting out of going up against these new looks.
Obviously, playing against different people, you go against your same teammates every day, and you get tired of hitting the same people. So just to go against another defense, to see different looks, to go against different body types, different people, all that stuff's really good.
Iron sharpens iron, right? I mean, he's going against iron sharpens iron. He's going against a good defense.
Iron
sharpens iron. You ever heard that term before, Roc? No. Yeah, you get the best of the best going against each other. Iron sharpens iron. Absolutely. It's been around for years about playing the best, being the best, and being in a situation where you can improve, because that's a pretty damn good defense in Denver. So what he's saying is that, hey, look, I'm going against better competition. I'm going against a lot of guys that have been there and done that. They helped them get to a playoff last year. So it's making his game, helping the Cardinals pick their game up going against this kind of defense.
Our last one, here's Garrett Wilson Sr. on the veteran perspective on the matchup and where the Cards won today. I'm sorry. What did I say? Garrett, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think we matched up pretty well. Honestly, it's a great team with a great head coach, a year 2 quarterback who played pretty good his rookie year, and it was good work, honestly, all across the board. I feel like special teams, defense, offense, there was a lot of competing going on, and it was great work. Honestly, it was fun.
For Mac Wilson Sr., it's for him as being that Mike linebacker, a chance for him to see this Denver Broncos team and make the calls, make the adjustments. I'd still love to see this defense, go a couple of series and make those calls, since this will be his first year with that green dot on his helmet in a live situation. But what they tried to do, guys, is they really tried to make it as game-like as they could. I think they went 5, 6, 7 plays at a time. So that defense could be out there for a little while. Offense the same way. So it's good for them to see a playoff contending team, since you're not going to be playing tomorrow night, unfortunately.
Our replay rewind today brought to you by, it is every day, Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck, need a check, make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. So we are going to get into some baseball talk with Tom Candiotti. He will join us in a few, get his thoughts on this team. And can we say the word playoffs? I mean, is there a possibility? Because mathematically, they are still in it. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are at 60-62, 6th place in the National League wild card standings, only 4.5 games behind a very bad Mets team right now. And since this All-Star break, this team is 8-4. They got a little bit of momentum. Again, they're playing against some crap teams, but you got to take what you have in front of you. And then, as you mentioned earlier, Manuch, they'll get into a harder part of their schedule. But if they can knock some of these guys out, historically, no National League team with fewer than 60 wins at this stage has ever made the playoffs in the last 50 years.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Only the Mets in 73.
Yeah.
You can just.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a tall task. But it's interesting. You looked at the Diamondbacks last year at this time, they were +4 in reference to the wild card standings. And then this year, they're -4.5, as you mentioned. So trying to climb that mountain, it's going to be a tall task, a big mountain. But when you look at a team like the Mets, who've lost 9 out of the last 10, so Cincinnati's on your schedule. You got San Fran on your schedule. I don't think you got the Cardinals anymore. I don't think they're going to be on the schedule anymore. But Dodgers, you're going to be chasing a lot of teams. But I think you really, if you could just play solid baseball, keep the bats hot. I think the other thing, too, that's really impressive, we catch up with Candiotti here in the next segment, is the Perdomo, Marte, Carroll, Gurriel lineup. They've steadfast with that lineup the last, 5-6 days. Mm-hmm. And knowing Troy Lavello, I don't know how you want to change it. Now, you might give one of those guys a day off. I don't know why. If you've won 3 out of 4, you can't afford to give some of these guys a day off when you're at that 4.5-4 game mark as far as the wild card spot. But I like what's going on. Perdomo's been the guy. Perdomo, Roc, I'm telling you, they're right there, man. It's
Homer Radio, ESPN 620.
No, I just love to see what happened, as opposed to what happened last year. They had won 6 series in a row after the All-Star break. And one of the things you looked at, could you flip the script? They were that good last year, or they were that bad, and then can they make a run? I'd love to see a run. I really would, without their horses.
But but do you really see it? Odds remain under 5%. And as you always say, I got some, some oceanfront property in Yuma.
Yeah,
I like to sell you, Manuch.
I would love to see it. All odds are against them,
but it's not realistic.
It's not realistic. That's why
you can be optimistic. That's nothing wrong with that, but be realistic, I think, is what you need to do.
Yeah, but if you catch somebody in a slump, Cleveland coming in next week, Cincinnati, if you catch one of those guys in a slump, catch them down, get yourself with
Stop, especially today on National Relaxation Day. National Relaxation Day. So just chill.
I am chilling. I'm chilling for the best, man.
Just chill.
I am chilling for the best.
You are, I don't know. Maybe your son's giving you some of that good stuff that he sells up there in Denver. Because you're
they are. I will say this: he and my daughter are excited to watch the Cardinals play there in Denver. They're going to watch the Cardinals and Denver Broncos because they live in Denver. So they're excited to go root on the Cardinals. And I said, well, you're going to see a lot of backups, a lot of free agents. They're so excited to go.
Yeah,
Bronco Mania they still sell out with their preseason. So you're lucky to get a ticket.
They got a hell of a fan base.
They do.
All right, next. D-backs radio analyst Tom Candiotti, he will join us. His insights on this hot streak and Eddie Rodriguez' dominant outing, as well as Ketel Marte's clutch magic, both at Coors and in Texas. That's what's driving this momentum right now, this team. So we'll dive into that with him. And can we even say playoffs with Tom Candiotti? We will. Let's see what kind of reaction we get. But here's Matt with our first Wright Toyota ESPN 620 update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Wright Toyota ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks stayed hot with an 8-2 win over the Rockies last night, their 9th victory in the last 12 games. Arizona is now just 4.5 games back of the final NL wildcard spot. Tonight in Colorado, it'll be Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the D-backs, while Tanner Gordon gets the start for the Rockies. First pitch is at 5:40 with pregame coverage starting at 5 o'clock on 98.7 FM and streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Meanwhile, the Cardinals will head to Denver to take on the Broncos in their second preseason game, giving backups and young players a chance to get some reps and make an impression before the regular season starts. This update is brought to you by Wright Toyota, where they've got the right deal for everyone. Right on the corner, right on the price, Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Talking D-backs with Tom Candiotti next.
This summer, escape the heat and head to Backyard Desert Ridge, where Valley sports fans go to play. Catch every big moment on 4 massive 10 by 18-foot LED screens and over 40 HD TVs. Fuel up with wings, nachos, and 45-plus beers or cocktails on tap. Then keep the party going with live DJs and reverse happy hour specials. And this fall, it's Forks Up at Backyard, your go-to spot to catch every Sun Devil football game all season long. Reserve your table now at BackyardUSA.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Turner and Rose is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Construction managers, you prioritize safety with hard hats and gloves and harnesses, but there's another tool to add to your first aid kits. Naloxone. Naloxone reverses an opioid overdose and saves lives. Not only are construction workers at a greater risk of an opioid overdose than people in other occupations, but many overdoses occur in or near job sites. Provide access to naloxone and protect your workers. Together, we can build a safer future. Visit naloxoneaz.com. That's naloxoneaz.com.
AmeriCorps makes a difference in the lives of tens of thousands of Arizona children every year. From tutoring to teaching life skills, AmeriCorps is helping kids build brighter futures. Whether it's teaching, gardening, providing healthcare assistance, or serving at food banks, AmeriCorps is there to support the next generation of Arizonans. Find out how you can get involved at serve.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family.
I mean, that ball, he sees it, it's in the middle of the plate at one point, and then see you later.
The Candyman can. Candiotti just continues to throw slower and slower every inning. Gravity's going to take over pretty soon. The ball's not going to make it to home plate. An air strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Candyman. The Candyman can.
All right, Tom Candiotti now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. How you doing there, Candy? What's going on?
I'm just kind of hanging out in Denver, nothing else to do.
Oh man, you don't go home and watch BP. You don't get there early, watch BP, Tommy. That's not your thing.
Well, BP hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay.
But I will be there for BP and all that stuff. But
okay.
Up until that point, I'm just watching NFL live on TV.
Nice.
So Tom, you guys are hanging around the cage there in BP. What's the conversation? What's the mode like? These guys have won 6 out of 7, 7 out of the last 10. A little more loose, a little more relaxed, a little more confident. Kind of paint the vibe of what's going on these last few days.
Well, the times have changed. It used to be a point where you used to go down to the cage and, kind of talk and hang out and, just kind of BS with everybody. But
yeah,
nowadays you're not allowed to go down there. So you can't even go to the cage unless you got an appointment, so we'll go into the locker room beforehand, and there's someone you want to talk to, you talk to them. Then you go into Tori's office, and Tori has his little sit down with us, and we can ask him anything that's going on, and he'll volunteer information. Who's available, who's not available, who's what happened the night before, who's he going to use tonight out of the bullpen, just all those kind of questions.
How is it that you even have time to do that? Shouldn't you be playing 18 if you're up there in Denver? I mean, there's some great golf courses there. And I know you know a lot of people.
No, we played golf in Texas. It was great because there was a course, beautiful course that was attached to the hotel. So it was easy to play. But here in Denver, we were trying to get tee times, and everything is booked. So I don't know what's going on this weekend or what. I have no idea, but we couldn't get out. We couldn't get a place.
It's got to be the Arizona Cardinals preseason game there in Denver on Saturday night.
It's all about the Cardinals.
Maybe that
Cardinals
was it.
are coming in. Yeah, it's got to be it.
The funny thing with the Cardinals, so we flew in from Texas, and right at the airport, their plane was right there. And so we pull in, and I go, look at the difference of these planes. The plane we fly in and the plane they have. It's like twice as big as ours. It's great.
So, Tom, when you look at some of the things that have happened here, let's say the last week and a half, the one thing that stands out in my mind, and I just curious to see what Tori had to say, was Perdomo leading off, Marte, Carroll, Gurriel. That formula seems to be sticking pretty good. Why the moving up of Perdomo to lead off? I could see Marte and Carroll, but why Perdomo as a lead off?
Well, I think there's two reasons. One of them, I think they're all interchangeable, actually. But Perdomo is a guy that sees a lot of pitches, right? And, he can bomb it out. He can, he's a very talented hitter, but he usually has prolonged at-bats, and that's important for a leadoff hitter because it makes the pitcher work a little bit, makes him throw some pitches so the guys that are hitting behind him can kind of see, kind of gauge what he's throwing, look up, see what the radar gun's saying, and all that other stuff. And then also with Corbin Carroll going down into the number 3 slot, Corbin, he doesn't really take his walks. right? He's a guy that likes to slug the ball, and that's what he's been doing. And so, yeah, he'll get us some base hits here and there, but most of the time they're like doubles, triples, and home runs. And so if you get guys like Marte and Perdomo on, you know, for him, Gurriel and Corbin are going to have field days. And the other thing that's really happening a lot with this lineup is Blaze Alexander and Alec Thomas out down towards the bottom of the order. Those guys are starting to put together good bats. And when all of a sudden you get some, you know, bottom of the order production with guys getting on and it flips the lineup over, now you guys like Marte and Perdomo and Carroll, they're hitting with guys on base in RBI situations. And so the offense has been working really, really well that way. And I think a lot of it is just Perdomo. I think that was a great move, making him the leadoff guy.
You know, Tom, you look at Carroll, you talk about Carroll hitting 248. Slugging percentage up, though, this year at 550. Are you giving up one to get to the other? You look at his numbers are down. Is he more into the slugging, as you mentioned, versus the average of putting ball in play? Is that kind of his role this year versus the last couple of years?
You know, I still think he's trying to figure himself out as a hitter. You know, I mean, early on, you know, the last couple of years, the guy could steal bases like crazy.
Sure.
You know, he doesn't really run that much anymore. You know, they really want to keep him healthy because his bat is so important. And it's so potent. I mean, he hits bombs out of there for just a little guy. I mean, I'd love to see him in a home run derby one of these times. But he's just not a guy that's going to get on base, hit the ball the other way. You know, it's just not his style right now. And he's still maybe figuring out, you know, what his style really is. But it certainly hasn't been running this year. You know, I think what he had last year, like 50 stolen bases or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I think he's kind of slotting in and feeling pretty good about hitting in that third hole.
How's Erod feeling right now? He pitched really well last night. 7 really strong innings. But give up just one run, 1 walk. That
was nice. You know, he kind of does it with. He's got 3 different fastballs, right? He's got his 4-seamer, his 2-seamer, and his cutter. And you know, when he's on with those, you know, he's usually pretty good. When he's off with those, you know, he's in trouble. And really, with his changeup, he gets up a lot of slug with his changeup, and that's one pitch he throws about 20% of the time. And you know, hitters hit it for high average, and they slug it a lot. So he's really got to be on the edges with it. But when he has his fastball command and he's on the edges with those, you know, the 3 different fastballs that he throws, you know, he's pretty good. And let's not forget too, you know, this Rocky team they're just looking for an identity right now. You know, it'll be a big test for the Diamondbacks, you know, after this series when you're starting to play, you know, the Padres and you're starting to play, you know, these Minnesota and or Milwaukee and LA and stuff. So it's going to be a little bit different. But, you know, having said that, these are games you have to win, and they're doing whatever they can and to win, and they're doing it.
And Tom's, you know, you look at the bullpen and you look at Murillo getting his first save the other day, pitched well yesterday, only gave up the 1 hit. Beeks comes in, gives up the 2 hits. Okay. Is Beeks starting to earn that role? Is he moving up into that save/closer role even more so with his performance?
You know, I think Torrey's just basically, you know, looking at this really as a rehearsal for a lot of these guys. I don't think he really has defined roles down in the bullpen. I think he's slotting guys around who's ready to go and all that. You know, you look down there and you go, you don't really have that go-to closer. You know, he's trying to figure things out. You know, it'd be great if he still had Jay Martin, he still had Puck, you know, down there. I mean, what a difference, you know, this bullpen would be. But you don't have those guys. And even Shelby Miller. And so you got to kind of do what you can with your talent you have. And he's moving them around just to see who can do what and who's comfortable doing what, and just really trying to mix and match. And the guys know it. And so they also are, you know, I mean, no one's given up any games. They find themselves like kind of knocking on that 500, you know, spot. And, you know, once you get to 500, you know, hopefully you can get there with a sweep in this series. That'd be great. And then, kind of go from there and see what happens.
Kenny, how interesting was it to watch Zach Gallen against Merrill Kelly the other night in Denver or in Texas?
It was interesting. I play golf with those guys every year. At the Schwab, we always play together, and they're really best of friends. They don't live that far from each other. They're buddies. They're golf buddies. They've been in the rotation. They support each other, and I've kind of been in that situation years before. With Buddy Black, used to be a really good buddy of mine, and then all of a sudden, you have to pitch against him, and it was fun because in those days pitchers could hit, so you're just hoping for a little, hey, put one down the middle for me, see if I could knock one out of here or something like that. But you don't do that anymore, so they probably enjoyed the way it worked out, both getting no decisions on that, and not having bragging rights over the other one, I'm guessing, but. Sometimes it's hard pitching against guys that you're close with.
Well, speaking of that Rangers series, I think sometimes, Candy, we don't realize the kind of power that Ketel Marte has from both sides of the plate. The bomb he hit, 440 on the right side. Then the next day hits 425 from the left side. You look at him, and I look at him like Mookie Betts. It's surprising how much power they both have, and until you see it on display, you realize that, damn, these guys got more power than they look like.
And especially Ketel, because when he comes up, he swings so hard. He lets it go, especially when he hits from the right side. And but we've seen him do it a few times with the left side also. He just has strong hands, strong wrists. He's just strong. And he's got such a good eye at the plate. And he's one of those rare guys that he's not vulnerable to any pitch or any zone in the strike zone. You really, as a pitcher, you got to work to try to get him to try to chase the ball out of zone. So he's always getting a good pitch to hit. You never really see him like lunging out and trying to flick his wrist or something like that. He's usually locked in, and that's where that exit velocity really kind of comes in.
Tom, we always enjoy it, man. Thanks for making some time tonight, and we'll be listening later tonight. So thanks so much for the time.
All right, sounds good.
That's Tom Candiotti joining us from Denver, Colorado. Get ready for tonight's game. You'll be able to hear that on Arizona Sports. Tomorrow, you'll hear it right here on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD-2 as the Cardinals will be playing Denver on the mothership Arizona Sports. Again, you can hear both games on the Arizona Sports app. Tom's brought to you today by All City Towing, the largest towing company in the state here in Arizona, and a place where your career can get a serious boost. They're hiring all positions across the board, 401k with an employer match, paid life insurance, even a monthly fuel allowance. Does that sound good? Well, then take the next step. Visit allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Well, the biggest story isn't the NFL today. It's in Ann Arbor. Plus, Oklahoma's quarterback gets caught up in Venmo Gate. And then how about Tennessee ditching Nike? We'll get into some of those college football stories next, right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620, live from Wright Toyota.
Draft your fantasy team where the real MVPs are at Twin Peaks. Ice cold beverages, wall-to-wall TVs, legendary eats, and scenic views. This is how you fantasy draft. Commissioners score a $50 bonus card, plus $5 for every drafter at the lodge. Lock in your draft party now at TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/fantasy draft. Or better yet, just stop in one of 5 Valley Twin Peaks lodges. Twin Peaks, the ultimate draft day destination.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
All right, folks, here we go. 3rd and long, and your old underwear just got blitzed again. Sweaty, bunched up, riding high. That's a wardrobe malfunction, and you cannot coach through that. But hold everything. Chill Boys enters the game. Cool, breathable bamboo boxers. Smooth as a perfectly executed 2-minute drill. I slipped on a pair and bam, total comfort in the pocket, even in the Arizona heat. I've called a lot of clutch performances in my day, and I'm calling it right now. Chill Boys is the MVP of underwear. We've all made the switch here at ESPN 620, and trust me, you should too. Head to chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com. Folks, this is a game changer. You cannot afford to fumble.
At Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and safe. And that means safe at home, at school, and online.
Hope means walking this path together, all of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota On This Day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
Happy National Relaxation Day. Yeah, a study found that 42% of our day should go towards rest and relaxation.
How much percent? 22?
42. That's like 10 hours.
It's like just hanging out, man. Who's got time to relax anymore?
I can't imagine.
I can't either. I
can't even sleep 10 hours.
It's
I'm looking at sleep 2 or 3.
If I get 5, I'm good. If I get those 5 hours.
Yeah, 5 I can handle. I'd love to get a 5.
Yeah. 5 straight, pushing 6 is pretty much it. But hey, you go over to Europe, they take a 2-hour, lunch break or siesta or nap, whatever.
All right, on this day back in 1965, Mickey Mantle hits his 500th career home run. Did off of Stu Miller of the Baltimore Orioles. He became just the 6th person in Major League Baseball history to reach that milestone at that time. 2012, Felix Hernandez throws a perfect game. The King, he did it for the Mariners. He threw the 23rd perfect game in MLB history. He shut down the Tampa Bay Rays at Safeco Field. 9 innings, no hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts. How about that?
It's just rare you see anybody even complete a game anymore. I mean,
yeah.
You talked about Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's been forever.
Yeah, he went 7 innings last night. I went, wow. Now, I know it's the Rockies, but he pitched effectively.
Yeah.
His pitch count, I think, after 6 was like 80, 85. So he was pitching effectively. But, I mean, you see somebody go 7 innings, you go, damn. It's like a new standard now.
All right, let's get to Football 50 a little early. Got a few good stories here. The biggest story, no question, is the NCAA issuing the major sanctions on Michigan. We're going to be all over it in about 7 minutes, so just stick around. We'll get into that, everything that you need to know. Some other stories. Venmo Gate. John Mateer, who transferred from Washington State to Oklahoma, is under some scrutiny after fans discovered a Venmo account of his with transactions dating back to 2022 that were labeled sports gambling. Now, he insists it was just a harmless inside joke, but it still happened, and he's under scrutiny for it.
Well, and again, okay, so you look back, 3 years, 4 years. What was the egregious? Because you can't, as a college player, you can't gamble on anything ever while you're playing. So you just wonder, will there be an investigation? Will there be a trail to find out if it actually was and where it went? Now, I guess he was sending to somebody to place bets for him. So, okay, if you could get the paper trail, And does the NCAA even go that deep into investigating it? But you know what? Nothing to see here. We can't really track it.
But that's what the NCAA likes to do. They like to meddle into that kind of crap.
By the time he could be 3 or 4 years down the road, Rock.
Yeah, by the time figure it
By
out.
the time they figure it out, what are they going to do?
It is triggered a broader debate, though, Manuch. It's like, are fans overreacting, or should college athletes be held to a higher standard?
Well, here's the thing. It's like Major League Baseball, pro football. If you're gambling on your team or you got inside information, it's all about the inside information.
Yeah.
But if this is going to the wrong people at the right time, that's what they're concerned about. I mean, that's the red flag. They go, wait a second, where did it go? Who's it going to? Where was that person sending that information? If he's placing his bets, if he's got some information at Washington State, what's that information if that game's being played on a Friday or Saturday night? That's their contention with this whole thing.
University of Tennessee is ending their partnership with Nike. So if you're a Tennessee Wolverines fan, you throw away that Nike gear. They just signed a new deal with Adidas. It's a it's a $10 million a year deal. Now, this contract includes immediate NIL integration via their NIL ambassador networks. This allows the athletes to earn more money from promotional opportunities, starting into next season.
Yeah.
Can't do it this year, but for next season. So that's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good deal to try to generate the revenue. Sometimes if it wasn't an NIL deal, you're always talking about that marketing thing, going from Nike to Adidas to sell the apparel. Now with the Nike, with the Adidas logo versus the Nike as a ploy to raise money. But I can see what they're doing here. They're trying to make sure that those monies keep going in for all their sports, not like football, but basketball, baseball, to remain competitive, especially with these sanctions and violations they were hit with here this last year.
University of North Carolina AD Bubba Cunningham today unveiled their revenue sharing percentages, saying that the majority of the funds are going to be split between, no surprise, football and men's basketball. 65% is going to football, 35% is going to men's basketball, while the baseball and women's basketball program, they will get the rest. So he said, that UNC gave $13 million to football, $7 million to men's basketball, $250,000 to baseball and women's basketball each. Only $250,000. So they have 28 teams that they have to find money for.
Cover for,
which I think Arizona has more than that.
Well, I think that, we also found out, Eric Moses on the other day from the Fiesta Bowl, the executive director, CEO, Grant Poop, Paul, whatever, says as an alumnus, this is the first time in I don't know how many years that they have sold out. Now, Belichick has a big part of that. But if you continue to sell out with Bill Belichick here, and that more money is raised plus NIL, and if they get on a winning streak, win on a consistent basis with Parcells, that'll help it even more so. But 65% sounds about right. I mean, for North Carolina, hell, Rock, was it 10 years ago? That'd probably been flipped, because it wasn't until the Mitchell Trubisky era, quarterback, that we start to see this team really start to flip the script. I think about Coach Brown when he went back from there. North Carolina got them back on the map as far as being a prominent football program and not just basketball.
Coming up in hour number 2, bowl projections are out. Yes, we haven't even got to week 0, but the bowl projections are out. We're going to kind of break down everything ranging from the Celebration Bowl to the national title game. Of course, Georgia, Ohio State, they're the ones that we continue to hear about, but there are some others. And this projection that came out from ESPN has Arizona possibly sneaking in to a pretty prominent bowl game. The Alamo Bowl.
The U of A Wildcats?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Coach.
Guy must have some ties to Arizona.
Well, we had Glenn Howell on the other day. He said it's the best he's seen as far as offensively and the most physical.
They could be the Arizona State of 2025 because they're flying under the radar.
Sure. And they got a hell of a quarterback going into his, third, fourth year. They got some talent. He mentioned that they're bigger, stronger, faster. And I think at that point, if you can put some early wins together, which they should, who knows what could happen.
It's all quarterback in it. It's just in college.
It's QB, it's defense, you have the home run hitter. And ASU, talk about, lightning in a bottle or the perfect storm. Levitt comes on, Cam Scatteraboo, their defense. You look at Jordan Tyson, what he did. All of a sudden, their defense really, they were the ones under the radar. They really made some big plays. So, you know what? If U of A can get back on track after last year, more power to them. Hey, Jed Fish had him right there, Rock. Remember that?
Yeah.
They go and they smoke Oklahoma a couple years ago in the bowl game. It was the Texas Bowl. And then he leaves as they started to grow. At that point, a lot of guys left, went to Washington with him. So Coach Brenton pretty much, having to rebuild a little bit, but he feels pretty good about the kind of guys he has. And you just never know. I mean, the Big 12, probably the most parity conference of all the conferences that are out there. Just look at it from head to toe.
By the way, next Saturday, week 0, Iowa State, Kansas State from Ireland, Fresno State, Kansas. We're going to talk about Fresno State with Kurt Warner. His son's going to be the starting quarterback there. Stanford, Hawaii. Heard the news about Hawaii getting a new stadium. I think that's pretty cool. So you also got Idaho State and UNLV to start out week 0. So it's good stuff there. Football at 50 is brought to you by Putting World, and their Fridays are all about prime rib. Hand-carved prime rib, grilled steaks, cocktails at their bar 19, plus $19 all-day putting to top it all off. I mean, you got to get a reservation. They've been busy. Go to puttingworld.com. Start at 4 o'clock. At the big dinner specials with that hand-carved prime rib, as I mentioned. They have some juicy steaks, old fashions, Manhattans, and you pair it with some golf. They even have $5 beer and wine. So that's every Friday. Dinner starts at 4 o'clock. Happy hours between 3 and 6. That's bar 19 inside Putting World there at Scottsdale and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, right there in the promenade. You can't miss it. For more information, go to puttingworld.com. All right, the NCAA dropped the hammer on Michigan, or did they? We'll dive into that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B out here at Right Toyota.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Cardinals fans, football is back, and Kilt Lifter from Four Peaks has your game days covered. Celebrate kickoff the right way by entering the Kilt Lifter Kickoff Sweepstakes for your chance to win 2025 Arizona Cardinals season tickets and take your fandom to the next level. Grab your crew and head down to Four Peaks 8th Street Pub in Tempe. Look for the QR code and get entered to win. Four Peaks Pub is the home of Kilt Lifter, Arizona's favorite award-winning Scottish-style amber ale. Bold, smooth, and brewed for Sundays.
Hey everybody, it's Dan Bickley, and Arizona summers are no joke, and if your AC's not cutting it, that heat can be dangerous. That's why Parker & Sons and Goodman are giving away a brand new air conditioner installed for free to a local senior in need. So if you know someone on a fixed income who could use it, a grandparent, a neighbor, nominate them now at parkerandsons.com. The deadline is August 15th, and if your AC is struggling, call Parker at 602-2REPAIR.
Need to feed the crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with the perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Imagine if Michigan didn't win that championship just 2 years ago. What would the fans be able to talk about? Just beating Ohio State a couple times?
Yes.
After Ohio State owned them for so many years?
Yep.
Because it seems like every offseason, not every offseason, but we've had some off seasons where we get to talk about Michigan, not because of what they've done on the field. It's what Jim Harbaugh was doing.
Right.
And now what came down today with the sign stealing scandal. Yeah, it came down today. The NCAA, the headline, which I don't believe, lowers the boom on Michigan, but no postseason ban. So the NCAA Committee of Infractions issued what I just haven't been able to sleep, and I can't wait tonight. I finally get my first night of sleep in a long time. So I've been waiting.
You were waiting
for this to come down. What this punishment will be for Michigan, because I think what's going to happen now is, with what's going on in Michigan, Ohio State will be back on track again. Just winning.
They always are.
Yeah.
They always will.
Yeah. I mean, it won't be as big a rivalry.
But you can rest assured that Ohio State doesn't cheat like this.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get that in a moment.
Okay.
So here is what came down. The estimated fines, it's over $30 million. Now, it includes some chump change, $50,000 base fine, right? It must be in the manual. 10% of Michigan's football budget, which is projected around $7 million. 10% of the 2025 scholarship costs. Loss of all postseason revenue, the share that they get from the Big Ten for this year and next year. Now, head coach Moore got a 2-year show cause penalty. He got a 3-game suspension. 2 of them will be this year, one against Central Michigan and the other against the Cornhuskers. And then one in 2026 against Western Michigan when they're in Germany.
Oh.
So he's just going to stay home?
Yeah.
He's
not going.
He's not going to go?
No.
He gets out of that one?
He'll just FaceTime anything that's going on over there here.
Now, the suspension includes game weeks, so that means no practice involvement per the NCAA's updated rules, which is a bunch of BS, right? Now, Jim Harbaugh, the former coach, he gets a 10-year show cause order starting after his current 4-year show cause, which ends in 2028. So I think it's pretty safe to say
he's not coming back.
He's not coming back to college football.
No.
Of course, he's with the LA Chargers, and he's got a pretty good team there. He'll be fine. Now, Connor Stallions, he got an 8-year show cause. He was the guy in charge. He's the one who orchestrated all the sign stealing schemes. You saw him in the Central Michigan coach's outfit and everything on the sideline.
Tickets.
He is part of what they call the KGB network. All right. Now, former assistant Denard Robinson. Now he got a 3-year show cause for recruiting violations and failure to respond to the Chargers. Now, Michigan football in general, what do they get? Nothing. 4-year probation, recruiting restrictions, no postseason ban, so they can go play. They may see them in the Fiesta Bowl, and their 2023 national championship remains intact. So, this scheme, if you've been hiding under a rock, basically this guy Stallions, he arranged for staff, for interns, to buddies that he knew, to illegally scout 13 opponents for Michigan in person between 2021 and 2023. Now, what they did is they recorded opposing sideline signals. They then shared the footage with Stallions, and then he decoded the signals in pregame. So then he would have those and be able to give them to Michigan to use accordingly. Called the network the KGB, as I mentioned, and he called the footage dirty film in internal communications. So you have all this information comes out. Now, you could argue the side of, just like in baseball, if the second baseman is shortstop, or I should say a runner's on second base, and he's stealing signs, fine. Who cares?
It's part of the game.
So is this part of the game then?
No.
Why not?
Because it's written in the bylaws that you're not allowed to do. Baseball, if you can give a signal to the batter if you have one, whether it's a fastball, curveball, it's very hard to do, by the way. So that's just part of the game. That's not written in the rules of Major League Baseball that you can't try to steal the sign. Now, like Houston and Boston, they were doing it digitally. They were doing it technically. You can't do that. It's in the bylaws for the NCAA. You can't, number one, you can forward scout, but you can't be on the sideline, can't be filming it. You can't be paying all these guys to go to the games, get on the sideline. What they orchestrated with 56 off-campus incidents, and you mentioned over a 3-year period. So that not only once or twice, this was covert operations. And here's this guy, basically Stallions, who is a Navy grad. I think he specialized in covert operations that he just took to the football field. You can't do that. But the thing is, the egregiousness of this over 3 years on a consistent basis. And on top of it, you knew Harbaugh and his staff and Denard Robinson and all the above were like, hey, I don't want to know about it. If you're going to go do it, it's that old, I don't want to know about it, but show me what you have. I don't care how you get the information. I don't care what it is. Just get it to us and just make sure you don't get caught. Well, obviously they got tipped off, and then they look back at this, and this guy's got records. You look at the tickets, you look at all the things that go through Stallions, and there it is. It was so premeditated. That's why I think that this penalty is not harsh enough. It doesn't have enough bite to it because it is right down the line of premeditation in reference to what they're doing. It's out. Well, you can do that. And if you get popped, just pay a fine. We'll suspend your coach. Nothing to see here, and we'll move on. Okay, if you want to eliminate cheating, you want to eliminate drugs from the game, it's the same difference from the drug use, suspended players, to the same situation. It's written in the laws, the bylaws of the NCAA.
I go back to the Cactus Bowl in, I believe it was 2015. So it was about 10 years ago. ASU, West Virginia. Dana Holgorsen, head coach at West Virginia. Todd Graham for Arizona State. West Virginia ends up winning by a point, 43-42, something like that, right? But what was so funny on the sideline, I believe, and I don't know this for fact, but Dana Holgorsen didn't have the best relationship with Todd Graham. And you know how the guys on the side have the big cardboards?
Yes.
They would put pictures of like Todd Graham, Arizona State stuff, just to piss off Todd Graham. And I knew it was a big deal. I mean, people talked about it after the game. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember that.
Yeah. They had all these really funny signs that basically were mocking. Like I think they had a picture of Hawaii, the rainbows, when he had coached there, and just Dana Holgorsen is that kind of guy, he just poking fun, but it gave him somewhat of a competitive edge.
Well, and I think he was trying to say that there were plays defensively and offensively tied to every one of those poster boards, what they were. And then I believe somebody else played ASU that, remember the long extensions, there was like a mini curtain that they would block the guy giving signals when they played Todd Graham's teams. Now, they would the guy flagging the signals, and typically there's like 2 or 3 guys flagging signals, 2 are dummies and 1 are live.
Yeah.
But remember, Rock, they had like this long, big stick with the curtain, and the guy that actually gave the signals was behind it, so Todd Graham's defense or people couldn't see them giving the plays. I thought that was funny, but They tried to say that the posters were meant plays and nothing to see here. But if you get popped, this is like, I've heard of guys trying to steal signs. I mean, they tried to do it. The Raiders were known for that for years. They tried to film and steal signs.
These guys just got caught, though.
They got popped. But, I mean, to this level, I mean, you had a staff.
That's how you do things in Michigan to win.
Well, you know what? And like I said, all right, we don't care how you get it. Just put it in front of us.
Well, like I've said, earlier when we kind of broke this down to start the show, if you're going to cheat, win big, what's the worst case that's going to happen to you? You got to write a check.
Nothing.
You just got to write a check.
Write a check.
If they're not going to take away a championship the year that you allegedly cheated.
Yeah. But look at those years, 21, 22, 23. You win the championship during one of those years. And you don't mean to tell me that the NCAA didn't go, well, you know what, you were in the thick of it here in all of your cheating and sign stealing. How can you not use that to your advantage when you take on the Pac-10, the Big Ten championship, and then the playoffs, and then you win it all? You mean to tell me that during this time frame, which you won an NCAA championship, that you did not use it? They're not going to buy it. Hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I would say if there's anything, heck, I look at the Reggie Bush situation. He got paid to go live. He was pre-NIL. They took his Heisman away.
So,
and you look at USC championships, they take that stuff away. Penn State. Now, the Penn State thing was, were they aware of Sandusky's pedophile ways during the time? That's where they felt that allegedly Joe Paterno was aware of it. They're aware of it. That's where they came down so hard and, quite frankly, proved that was the issue.
So if you break it down even farther, 2021, they go 12-2. They're in the CFP semi at the Orange. Mm-hmm. The following year, they go 13-1. They're in the Fiesta CFP semi. And then the championship year, they go 15-0 and win the Rose and win it all.
The last year.
And then what happens a year after Harbaugh leaves? They go 8-5. No more cheating.
Rock, you're connecting the dots, man.
Well, if you go the year before it all started, they were 2-4.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. They were 2-4. Obviously, that was 2020.
Sure. Yeah.
COVID.
Harbaugh was just taking the program over.
Well, no, Harbaugh had been there since 2015.
Oh, it's been okay.
He'd been there a long time. He opened up his first 2 years. He was 10-3. He had a bad year, 8-5 in 2017. Then he goes 10-3, 9-4, 2-4, then 12-2, 13-1, 15-0.
And I have a hard time believing that this Stallion guy took this on all by himself.
Of course he did, Manuch.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, I know he did. Yeah. Oh, hey, look, I graduated from the Navy. I know covert operations. I know some of the things I can do to make this. We've got to turn this bad boy around. I can almost and this is just my opinion, I can hear Harbaugh in a meeting prior to that year going, you know what? We got to get this thing turned around.
Yeah, I don't care how we do it.
Exactly right. That's it. I don't care
how we boosters.
Do. You know what?
DC, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, this is one of those things where, as you guys were mentioning, it's the level of egregiousness.
Yes.
When you have to hire people and send phones through UPS boxes, and it sounds more like I'm listening to a CIA movie or a script for that instead of a college football plan.
Yeah, we're
so true.
We're going to invade somewhere, and we got all this stuff going on. Yeah.
All right, Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer says he's never bet on sports, despite Venmo payments labeling himself as sports gambling. He did it against USC, UCLA. The 2025 bowl and playoff projections are out, so we're going to get into that. And could Arizona really sneak in to the Alamo Bowl? One guy thinks so, a prominent guy for ESPN. We'll get into all that college football blitz next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota.
This summer, escape the heat and head to Backyard Desert Ridge, where Valley sports fans go to play. Catch every big moment on 4 massive 10 by 18-foot LED screens and over 40 HD TVs. Fuel up with wings, nachos, and 45-plus beers or cocktails on tap. Then keep the party going with live DJs and reverse happy hour specials. And this fall, it's Forks Up at Backyard, your go-to spot to catch every Sun Devil football game all season long. Reserve your table now at BackyardUSA.com.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool Products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at wrighttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out wrighttoyota.com.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a low ball off. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Attention golf lovers and putting enthusiasts. Are you ready to elevate your game? At Putting World, we've got cutting-edge technology that'll have you sinking putts like a pro. With high-tech simulators and expert coaches, you'll be on your way to mastering that tricky six-footer in no time. Check us out at puttingworld.com. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a newbie who thinks a hole-in-one is just a fancy donut, there's a place for you at Putting World. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. As an actor and a director, I attend a lot of screenings. But there's one that's different. It's important, and it could save your life. A lung cancer screening. You know, I lost my mom to lung cancer when she was just 68 years old. That's Jennifer. Screenings help diagnose lung cancer early when it's most treatable, even curable. A quick low-dose CT scan is all it takes. Go-to for lung cancer is your go-to. Visit goto.org.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
So third down and 20. See how much they can get back here. They do still have two timeouts. They want four. He keeps it himself. And here he goes. John Mateer skipping inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Cougars.
All right, last year on the Peacock, Washington State and Washington, and quarterback John Mateer, who's now with Oklahoma. So I raised this question. Does a joke in a payment app cross the line in today's NIL?
Well,
or it's just a case of people overreacting to social media, which we all do. Jimmy B was here right now. He goes nuts when he sees something on social media.
He does.
He thinks it's like he's the one who still thinks Wikipedia is legit.
He thinks it's etched in stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Folks,
what?
if you don't know Wikipedia is something fans write. So you can't trust Wikipedia if you're looking for research.
I think with you have to be as a college athlete or even a pro, you got to be very careful to joke about this. You're not allowed, number one. Why would you joke about number two? Because you're going to bring attention to yourself. And if it is true, they're going to scrutinize you. They might take a deeper dive. Now, the only thing the NCAA might do is okay, we see what this happened is brought to our attention. Not as if they found out themselves, but it's brought to their attention. How deep of a dive are they going to take? But the reason why they got to at least look at it, Rock, is they've got us go, okay, if this is legit, we can't have one of our a kid that was a starting quarterback at Washington State that might have passed money along to somebody to bet on whoever, Washington State or whatever. We don't know who he bet on, and that's insider information. So you can't do that unless the guy was now backing up, going, "Oh no, I was just fooling." He just got caught. He got popped.
Yeah, I mean, it happened in 2022. It was UCLA USC game. There was 2 screenshots, 2 payments made to a couple of his teammates there at Washington State. That kind of triggered it. Then that Venmo account was made private shortly. It's like, who are these people that just sit around and try to find this garbage?
I don't know.
And just, oh man, look what I found. Let's exploit this.
Yeah, and I think that's the sad thing about it all.
It's
It's 3 years. It's 2025. It's happened 2022. Going back that far, but I think that, and isn't there like a statute of limitations? For some of this?
It's only 2022.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing with this. The reason why NCAA, NFL, Major League Baseball, all the pro sports, college, they were going to have people that will take a good hard look at what's out there to make sure that nobody has insider information. I mean, the
All right,
money
let's move on.
real quick, the money that's going on in college football right now, Rock, these NIL deals, and these guys all know each other, these kids. So if they get privy information, they can have somebody place a bet. You want to fork over $1,000 to whoever to go place that bet because you know what's going on with UCLA and USC.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want to get to.
All right, the 2025 college football playoff and bowl preview is out from ESPN. So now the 12-team college football playoff, this is year 2. There are some tweaks this year. Top 4 overall seeds, not just the conference champs, now are in the first-round buys. First-round games are on campus. Those sites are for the seeds 5 through 8. And then the college football semifinals rotate through the major bowls, including, of course, the Fiesta, which is in Glendale, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. They had the big kickoff luncheon going on right now. As Jim McMahon is the host, so I missed that today. So here are some key projections from a couple of the writers for ESPN. ASU as a 10 seed at Alabama, and then the Fiesta Bowl would host Georgia and Texas. The other was ASU as an 11 seed, and then the Fiesta would also be Georgia and Texas. Both of the experts project Texas in the title game, and they both have different opponents, Penn State or Clemson. Clemson's got their quarterback back, who's thrown for like 7,100 yards, 70 touchdowns. Guy's got stupid numbers.
He can land it up.
Is it Colbeck or something?
Colbeck.
Yeah. Klubnik, thank you. Then, again, the semifinal for the Fiesta Bowl is on January 8th out there in Glendale. The Rate Bowl, which is at Chase Field on December 26th, is going to be early. So projections there are Baylor versus Iowa or TCU versus Minnesota. And then down in Tucson, you got the Arizona Bowl. And right now they're looking at either Bowling Green, Colorado State, or Fresno State. Again, these are all projections. ASU is right there in both projections. U of A, surprisingly, so there are a couple surprises that I saw, or 3. Oregon and Alabama just missed the playoff cut.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
But they're in New Year's 6
Eve.
bowls. Okay. Arizona sneaks into the projection for the Alamo Bowl. Brett Brennan, the new head coach, into his second year. He continues to take some of Jet Fish's recruits because they didn't have a huge exit.
No, they
not
did,
huge.
They lost
a few good ones.
No, yeah, they did. Matter of fact,
a couple of guys at NFL.
Yes,
a lot of guys in NFL.
Yeah. Damon Williams from Basha, he was one of the biggest ones. He was on campus for maybe 3 days before he went to Washington.
And the one that how do I say this, not being a jerk off? Colorado. There's no more noise. They're not even projected to make a bowl game. How about that?
Well, he, not only his son and his, and then Travis Hunter, they lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
They lost
They may be a really bad football team.
And he said that Deion Sanders said, hey, look, we'll be just fine. Well, you've lost some studs. You lost some guys because they were down last year. It was 2 years ago where they really, really shine when he first got there. This last year, they waned. And this year, right, you're right, Rock, they really may fall off the map with the lack of talent that they've got in Boulder.
What else do I have here? Your alma mater possibly playing in the Alamo Bowl if Arizona's not there. Ohio Bobcats, they're heading to the Boca Raton Bowl.
Yes,
Watch out, baby. They're on a high right now with that starting quarterback that you train.
Yeah, Parker Navarro.
From Tempe, right?
Yeah. Maxwell, Davey O'Brien. He's got a lot lot of preseason accolades going on right now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. The Maxwell Award.
I don't know if I can handle another player getting drafted in the National Football League.
Oh, could you imagine? Yeah.
No, I can't. Your head and nose are already so big.
30 years later, every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut, right?
You're finding it quite a bit as of late. So those early projections are out ESPN. So why not? It's college football season next week. Just like next Friday, we will be handicapping with Scott Spreitzer, who's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes, the games next Saturday. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. College football is here. I don't care if you call it week 0, week 10, I don't care. Week A, B, it doesn't matter. We got some games to watch.
And we start our high school season next Friday as well, too.
That's stupid, by the way.
0 week.
Stupid.
Well,
110. Now, today, I was 98 degrees the last I looked.
When I looked at last week's, it's going to go back up to about 112. So next Friday, it's supposed to be the high 110. By the time we kick off at 7, hopefully we're down to 105. But, yeah, the 2A, like the 1A through 3A levels start next Friday. That's the true 0 week. And then the following 28th, Thursday the 28th is when the next season starts.
So the matchups next week, Iowa State at Kansas State. That's, not at, they're in Dublin. Fresno State, Kansas, we're going to catch up with Kurt Warner. His son, EJ, is slated to be the starter at Fresno State. Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Stanford at Hawaii. You got an FCS versus FBS. And you got Idaho State at UNLV. And you got a bunch of FCS games, too, that'll be taken off on Saturday the 23rd as well. So that's pretty cool stuff.
That time
week
of year.
0, it starts it. And the big one with Iowa State and Kansas State and Dublin, I think that is pretty cool. And the FCS, people that like FCS, like Connor, you got UC Davis and Mercer in Alabama. That's a big one. Start off that FCS.
I do like the FCS, but those teams are it's hard to root
I was
for.
just UC Davis.
Yeah,
I was poking fun there. I was just seeing if your headset was on CC.
One of my QBs played at UC Davis. Sean Moran.
Beautiful campus. I don't know about the football conference.
Like I was selling it now for those two UCS Davis listeners. All right, Scott Spreitzer, sports handicapper from DocSports.com. He's got lines locked in for Chiefs, Seahawks, Ravens, Cowboys, Cards, Broncos, and Bengals, Commanders. I put all his bets in last week, and I went 3-1.
Yes, you did.
Yep. Plus, we're getting his take on UFC 319 as well. We'll find out who's got the betting edge next. But first, here's Matt with your Right Toyota ESPN 620 update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Right Toyota ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks stayed hot with an 8-2 win over the Rockies last night, their 9th victory in the last 12 games. Arizona is now just 4.5 games back of the final NL wildcard spot. Tonight in Colorado, it'll be Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the D-backs, while Tanner Gordon gets the start for the Rockies. First pitch is at 5:40 with pregame coverage starting at 5 on 98.7 FM and streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Draft your fantasy team where the real MVPs are, at Twin Peaks. Ice cold 29-degree beer, wall-to-wall TVs, legendary eats, and scenic views. This is how you fantasy draft. Commissioners, score a $50 bonus card plus $5 for every drafter at the Lodge. Lock in your draft party now at TwinPeaksRestaurants.com/fantasy draft. Or better yet, just stop in at any of the Valley Twin Peaks.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with the perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
The Arizona heat is brutal, but your golf game doesn't have to suffer. Swing Shift Golf Club is your air-conditioned escape, open 24/7 with top-tier simulators and zero sunscreen required. And let's be honest, no other indoor golf spot even comes close. Swing Shift is absolutely stunning. It's modern, spotless, and designed to impress. Leagues ahead of the competition. Memberships start at just $129 a month. Cool off, tee off. Only at Swing Shift Golf in Scottsdale. Join now at theswingshift.golf.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Being a family member's caregiver can be rewarding and challenging. Besides taking an emotional and physical toll, it can also take a real financial toll. Find out if you're eligible to get paid for the care you provide at the AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub. Developed with support from United Healthcare, this free online tool can help you search compensation programs and explore your options. Go to paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
When I grow up, I want to be a ballerina.
Because dancing makes me happy. I get to entertain people, and nothing makes me feel more like me.
PI, a defect of the immune system, affects millions of children. Early and accurate diagnosis and treatment give children like Olivia a chance to achieve their dreams.
It takes a great team to put on a show. It also takes a great team of caring people to keep a dream alive. And now my dreams are coming true.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
Now, sports gamblers, Scott Spreitzer, one of the leaders and most trusted names in the country. Nobody watches and studies games more than he does. From TalkSports.com, here's Scott Spreitzer, exclusively on with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, it's time to bring in one of the sharpest minds in the game, Scott Spreitzer, sports handicapper from DocSports.com. All right, we got lines today: Chiefs, Seahawks, Ravens, Cowboys, Cards, Broncos, and Bengals and Commanders. First of all, Scott, good job last week. I put in all your bets and did quite well, so thank you. And I hope to do the same this week because people are like, what are you doing Rock betting preseason? I'm like, yeah, I am. Just trying to build the bank for the regular season. You know, Scott, you got to build it, right? And this is the
Absolutely.
time to do it. So let's start with tonight, Chiefs at Seahawks. The line was 3. I now see 4.5. Seattle's rolling with more starters. Pete Carroll doesn't like to lose. We know that. Even in August. Pete Carroll, what do you see happening tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what. We keep going with these. And I know you said Pete Carroll, and you're thinking of the old days, but I'm
why did I say
talking
Pete
about.
Carroll? I didn't mean that at all. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I understand. I've done it myself.
Yes.
But I still call the Oklahoma City Thunder the Sonics. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But as far as the preseason betting, like I was saying last week, I'm not an Angles player in regular season in regular season football, but I am when it comes to preseason, and I don't care who's playing for the most part and who's not. And so if you followed what I said last week, and I'll repeat again, if you play against 1.5 point or more moves, so if a line opens, let's say 1, and a team moves from -1 to -2.5, you play the other side, and you're 35-16 against the spread since the start of last preseason, 9-3 this preseason, and 1 again last week. So having said that, as you said, Seattle's now up to a 4.5 point favorite, and they have moved enough to make Kansas City fit this angle. So for me, you either play the angle, which would be on the Chiefs, or you pass the game. And as far as who's playing, Seattle says their starters are going to play a couple of series with Sam Darnold, then follow with Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe. Not a bad preseason quarterback rotation. We have heard from Andy Reid out there that Patrick Mahomes is likely to sit out tonight. But Minshew and Zappi's a pretty good preseason rotation also. So I think with that mind angle and the fact that it's at least a break even among the quarterbacks we're to see tonight, that the Chiefs are the way to go at +4.5.
All right, Tom Landry, Cowboys against the Ravens. I can't believe I did. That's AI. I just didn't even.
Ted Marchibroda for Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly.
He's bringing him out of he's resurrecting him now, Scott.
I don't deserve to be doing this. That was a big mistake on my part.
Well, it's true.
I have it written down in front of me. I did my research on AI and I didn't even think about double-checking
it's
AI.
true. Pete Carroll does not like to lose preseason
I knew
games.
that, so I didn't even think about it.
You didn't lie.
Dumbass.
He hates losing preseason games.
I know.
You got that part right.
So the Ravens. Go ahead, Manuch.
So Ravens at the Cowboys. It just at this point, going back to the Chiefs and Andy Reid saying that Mahomes may not play, but he does like to play a lot of the starters. But the one thing in that game last week against the Cardinals, they all played like maybe a series or two at the most.
Right.
So I'm wondering how much that's going to wane. Now with Schottenheimer as the new head coach for this Dallas Cowboys team, you just wonder where he's at as far as playing his guys, not playing the guys, or that's coming from the guy up top and Jerry Jones.
Yeah, it's interesting because and also this line hasn't moved. I mean, it's basically been 1.5 since it opened, Baltimore being the short favorite here. So no line angle for us there. From what I'm hearing so far, we should see a lot of Cooper Rush for Baltimore, the former Cowboy QB. And the Cowboys are talking about Joe Milton getting, plenty of looks. He wasn't bad last week. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. He did throw a pick. And, of course, he was at the Patriots. And wear those thick gloves if you're on the receiving end of Joe Milton passes because it's a whole lot of bullets coming at you. But I expect a better performance, guys, by the Dallas defense this week. One reason is that the Baltimore offense, they've got very little to learn about itself. We saw last week they didn't even care about throwing the football. They gained less than 50 yards through the air. They ran for 177. And remember before last week, Harbaugh had that incredible 23-24 game preseason winning streak. Well, going into last week, he was 0-7 against the spread in his last 7 preseason games. And then, like I said, they just kind of played off of the other team's mistakes, that being the Colts, and they were able to go on to get the victory. It's an ever so slight lean to Dallas. I will not be putting my money on this one. The main reason I can't go against them here is they've never really cared much about preseason. Also, home teams off a double-digit loss in preseason football are not good the next week. And so that kind of works against Dallas too. So I hate to do it, but that one has to be a pass for me.
And you brought something in reference to even though Harbaugh, their first loss in 2 or 3 years in preseason, even though they're 0-7 versus the spread. So when you see they win, but they do well versus the spread, does that put you between a rock and a hard place, or is that why you're passing on this game in particular?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think he cares anymore about preseason. And if you watched last week's game, I mean, again, they didn't care about throwing the football. And they went up against a team that had planned on playing their quarterback Richardson early for a quarter and a half. And then he gets hurt, doesn't read the defense, gets hurt early on. And then Daniel Jones and Riley Leonard go 22 of 45 through the air with the pick, which, shows that the Ravens didn't do a whole lot to win that football game. The Colts just kind of gave it to them. So, yeah, it's kind of like one of those things where I'm not too sure if Harbaugh cares about winning this game. Is he going to put the ball in the air a lot or not? So far, he hasn't in preseason. So it's got to be a pass for me.
Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com, joining us here. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Wins. All right. Also on Saturday, Denver's laying 3 points as the Cardinals are in town. How do you see this one? How you handicapping this one?
We had the Cardinals last week. That's one of the reasons I talked about, we can't fall in love in preseason football. Folks can't fall in love with, oh my gosh, the other team's going to play their starters and so on because, we talked about it and you just mentioned it. You see Mahomes, he goes out there for a couple of series and that's it. And then all of a sudden you got to lay that big price, that big line with the team that said we're going to play our starters. And you've got every play after the first 2 series with backups. So that's why I always look for angles in preseason, a good example of that. We don't have an angle move here, a line move angle here. Denver did go, guys, believe it or not, from 3.5 to as high as 7 during the week. They're now back down to 3. Sean Payton says both teams are going to feature their 2s in this one rather than their starters. This really becomes a showcase for guys to wrap up backup jobs on the respective teams. Those are the toughest for me to handicap. Denver's deeper up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and there is a pretty good preseason angle that does come into play, guys. Denver beat San Francisco 30-9 last week, and preseason favorites off a win by 20 or more they're on a 27-7 run, going 21-10 against the spread with a couple of pushes. So that gets me to lean towards Denver at -3 or less. It's -3 right now. We know Arizona needs to clean up those turnovers from last week, but that's a pretty strong angle. It just didn't sound like Sean Payton cares a whole lot this week. So I've got another play for you coming up, but we'll probably end up having to pass the last two games we talked about with a lean on Denver.
You know, it's interesting, Scott, just to hear you talk how those stats versus trying to evaluate second and third teamers going against each other are pretty much, it's like you got to almost ignore the second and third teamers and go with what you have. So that's interesting how you broke that down. Bengals at the Commanders. Bengals -4.5. Interesting to see. As far as I know, it seems that there's not going to be a lot of starters in this one as well. Bengals, you know, I know that Joe Burrow played close to a quarter last week. Seems like he's more. He wants to play more this preseason. At least we're reading coming out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, and as of right now, this would be a line move angle if it was going to kick off an hour from now. Would be play on Washington against Cincy. The Bengals have gone from a 3-point favorite to a 4.5-point favorite. So we got that 1.5 minimum that we need. Obviously we have to wait until Monday to see if the game doesn't come back towards Washington. But this is going to end up being a play on Washington or nothing at all. We did find out last week that the Bengals offense is still top shelf, as you just mentioned, but we also found out that defense is probably still going to be a problem. I mean, the organization will not dip into their pockets for top-level defensive players, and the defense is going to suffer again this year. Washington did lose by 30 last week to New England, and preseason teams off double-digit losses are at home. They've been bad preseason bets, but again, that angle fits Washington. So if you want to negate those two, just take them right out of the mix. What I would do is lean Cincy first half in this one. And if that number doesn't get any crazier than it already is, that's probably what I'll end up doing on Monday, because Zach Taylor, he did say before last week's game, a couple of days before last week's game, that they would treat this one, and I'm paraphrasing, but like a dress rehearsal. This is where his starters would get more action in this game than they did going into last week. So we'll have to see if he sticks to that. If he does, then I think Cincy in the first half, which right now they're about a field goal favorite for the first half, would be the way to go, because it doesn't look like Washington is really caring too much about preseason. They know what they got. They know what they have in Jaden Daniels. But Cincy, I think their defense is going to see a lot of action on Monday.
Now, you mentioned, was that your special tease for us that you had something? Is that what you were looking at the first half?
Yeah, the first game we talked about, of course, KC is a play for me tonight. And then this game, first half on Cincy is going to be a play in all likelihood. So those two I'll definitely be on. I would tell people, just as an added potential play tomorrow, keep an eye on Green Bay. If they're getting at least 6 points, they fit that preseason angle, and they would be a play, and that game goes at 10 a.m. So just to kind of keep an eye on that one to see if it sticks at 6 or higher. It's got to be at least 6, and right now it looks like it's sticking there. There's a 6.5 or 2 out there, so they should probably be a play, again, at +6 or more in the morning.
All right, how about UFC 319 in the main event tomorrow night in Chicago?
Yeah, I'm looking at the lines right now, guys, and let's see what we got here. You're talking about the Duplessis Chimaev fight, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at anywhere from 230 to 260. The chalk is getting kind of up there, but that's the way I would go, guys. I would have to go with Chimaev tomorrow night. It goes about 9:15 p.m. I don't think it's going to go the distance. Right now, you got to lay a -$1.20 on 2.5 if you like it under. So you got to bet $120 to win 100. But I think my favorite play in this is going to be just lay the price, the 240 to 250. And then again, if you like the total, I also think I don't think it goes in, halfway into the third round. I think it'll be over by then.
Scott, thank you as always, buddy. Have a great weekend. Thanks for the time.
Take care, guys. Good luck.
It's Scott Spreitzer joining us as he does each and every week. And next week we will be doing week 0
in college football. Week 0 college football.
And Pete Carroll's the head coach at USC.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, he doesn't
That is
like
a major F up.
Yeah, he doesn't like to lose. We know that, Rock. We
No, but I don't like to make mistakes like
yeah,
that.
that's all right.
Literally black and white, right in my notes. I'm like, oh, Pete Carroll. I wasn't even thinking. I'm like, I know he's with the Raiders. I mean, I just, but still.
Nice comeback with Tom Landry and the Cowboys.
I know, but it's just,
nice.
I just fell into a Jimmy B. Dan Manucci moment there. And I know I'm getting close to your guys' age, but I don't like being part of paybacks, and that just got me in there.
Sometimes the tongue gets ahead of the brain. It happens, Rock. The older you get, that's how we take that Prevagen stuff.
Oh, jeez. We got to get some Danzaprin.
You know, what he said about Coach Taylor in the Bengals, and talking about that first half, that he wants to make sure that that this is that final dress rehearsal, which typically when you had the 4 preseason games, the third preseason game was your final dress rehearsal. Make sure everything's in line for at least a half. It may be 3/4, depending. And then that 4th game would be your free agents, your draft choices, and just get it out of the way and get ready for the season. And it's interesting how Jonathan Taylor, head coach of the Bengals, feels that way, where a lot of guys are resting their players, and some of them may opt to next week as the final dress rehearsal. Maybe they play their guys a quarter, at least a half, because of the 2 weeks off before the regular season. So looks like Taylor and the Bengals will go maybe a quarter and a half with his starters, and then sit them in the rest of the preseason.
All right, there's some NFLPA chaos. Their top lawyer was placed on leave. Brian Flores wins big in court. Social justice slogans, well, they're coming back to NFL end zones. We're getting into some NFL football talk next, as you're locked to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Live on ESPN 620, or also on FM at 98.7 HD-2. We're streaming on the Arizona Sports app as well as YouTube. We're at Wright Toyota. Appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner and Rowe today, and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Lerner and Roc is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs, right off Thompson Peak and Bell, next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club, a one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills, just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Mornings, it's Bickley and Murata, 6 to 10 a.m. Bickley and Murata, 6 to 10 a.m.
I like Vinny a lot.
I like you too, Bick. Middays, it's Wolf and Luke, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wolf and Luke, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. What's going on, Luke? Afternoons, it's Burns and Gambo, 2 to 6 p.m. Burns and Gambo, 2 to 6 p.m.
Gambo! Bertie, what's going on?
Arizona's biggest sports personalities are on the local sports leader. Arizona Sports 98.7 and the Arizona Sports app.
Construction managers, you prioritize safety with hard hats, gloves, and harnesses, but there's another tool to add to your first aid kit, naloxone. Naloxone reverses an opioid overdose and saves lives. Not only are construction workers at a greater risk of an opioid overdose than people in other occupations, but many overdoses occur in or near job sites. Provide access to naloxone and protect your workers. Together, we can build a safer future. Visit naloxoneaz.com.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
My walk-up song.
That'd be a good walk-up.
I love it.
A little tempo.
Like when I get to the refreshment stand.
Yes, it's a walk-up.
Yeah, I have it in touch tunes, so
Yeah.
I'll play before I walk in, and I do it at multiple places.
I like that.
And what I love about it is I have two buddies that can't stand it, so I do it on purpose now.
Yeah,
because they're like, they're playing their Iron Maiden and
Sure,
Van Halen and all that stuff, and I come in with that song and people just laughing at me.
Little,
Like, damn it, Rock.
Yeah, there it is. A little funky. The lyrics and everything.
All right, a random sports fact of the day. A baseball pitch can reach the plate faster than the blink of an eye. Yeah. A 100-mile-an-hour fastball takes roughly 375 milliseconds to reach home plate, while the average human blink takes about 400 milliseconds. That means by the time you blink, the ball is already in the glove.
Oh, I can believe that. I mean, a ball coming at 100, 104 miles an hour. I mean, you're like, as soon as you see that ball release, you're just guessing. If you can look at it, you're wide open. Your eyes are wide open, trying to hit that ball.
But you think about that. It's hard to comprehend.
Fathom, yeah, that the blink is so quick that a fastball is quicker, 100 miles an hour quicker than a blink.
So there's a young phenom you may have seen on SportsCenter. Baseball world was buzzing yesterday. His name is Lin Chin Si. He's a 12-year-old from China. He's in a Little League World Series. He stunned everyone by throwing back-to-back fastballs clocked at 82 mile an hour. Now, because Little Leagues use 46-foot mound compared to 60 feet 6 inches in Major League Baseball, the heat is equivalent to 107 mile an hour fastball in the majors. Now, that's what the broadcaster said.
Right.
I don't know if I necessarily believe that.
Yes.
But here is how it all went down yesterday at the Little League World Series.
13 like Chinese Taipei has.
Yeah, this is the third year we've had this. And how about that pitch? 82 miles an hour. That's 107 in pro baseball.
That's impressive right there. And he bears down at the top of the order here with Cano.
1-2. Fouled away on 82.
Kid fouled it away?
At 82.
That's amazing. He got the bat on it? 82 miles an hour as a 12-year-old? That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. But
Diamondbacks need to sign him now. Seriously.
Yeah, get him his visa, working visa, get that whole thing going. I just am curious to see how they equate that 82 at this age with the 46 whatever from the plate to 66.
There's people much smarter than we are. Figure that out.
They go to MIT to figure it out.
Football at 50, the latest episode of the Kelsey Show, New Heights. Taylor Swift, 15 million views on YouTube. Wow. Already the most popular episode of the podcast ever. This doesn't count all the other ways fans can consume a podcast. A representative of Spotify said that the episode generated 3,000% increase in new listeners for the show. And this is a big one. We're working on this. Number of female listeners jumped 618%. I mean, the system even crashed at one point.
Yeah, how does the system crash?
There's too much traffic.
There's no end to the internet, you would think.
Well, how much bandwidth do they have?
Well, that's true, but I mean, how many new Chiefs fans have been gained by that? The Chiefs loved it because she was wearing the Chiefs apparel.
Oh.
I mean, how many? I'm talking about free marketing.
And then you got Kingdom that hit last night.
Yes.
Which people said it's amazing, which I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's a great documentary, at least from what I've read. The NFL Players Association has placed longtime attorney Heather McPhee on paid administrative leave after there have been multiple internal complaints alleged that she bullied colleagues, she didn't listen to supervisors, She's disruptive in the workplace. This doesn't happen very often.
No. It sounds like
what's going on with the NFLPA, Manuch?
Well, I think that's a woman that's trying to prove herself day in, day out.
She's been there since 2009.
Yeah, she's
not proving anything.
No, I know, but there's no need for her to act that way.
Yeah.
And I think everybody just got fed up with it. This is the first I've heard of her having that kind of, acumen at the workplace. I mean, she's always done a great job at the NFLPA, but it got to the point where it's, hey, look, what you're doing is not part of the workplace we wants to be. This is on the heels, especially after they let with the Howler, the Powell guy go 2 weeks ago. So it sounds like to me they're reevaluating and making sure that, especially after the firing of the other guy, and if there's any other issues that are being concerned, they don't need any more bad press. Hopefully this will be the last National Football League Players Association bad press that they can stomach moving forward, because the CBA is just a couple of short years away, and they want to make sure they got the right people in there with the right kind of attitude. It's unfortunate.
There's a huge scandal there. This could get up there to like the Major League Baseball strike in '94.
It might.
I mean, there's a lot of internal cultural problems. You got a federal criminal deal going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, as I call it, going on that they want to try to have. The biggest thing, if there is a strike, is dealing with, if it happens, is dealing with the 18-game schedule, revenue sharing, and I think as far as expanding the roster, what I've heard from some of the guys, Michael Bankston heads up our NFLPA association here. There's a lot of those rumblings that they want to get, and they also want to try to increase more benefits for the Retired Players Association on top of that. All right, one more story. A federal appeals court in New York has ruled in favor of Brian Flores, allowing his racial discrimination lawsuit against the NFL and the Giants, Texans, and Broncos to proceed in court rather than be settled with arbitration. So it's a major win, and this could be something we will talk about for a long time.
It's the second one in a week. John Gruden, same thing.
Yeah.
Same exact 2 in 1 week. Proceeding to trial versus the NFL trying to take them to settle. Everyone, nope. We're going to expose everything, take this bad boy to trial.
Football 50 is brought to you by G2G Protein Bars. You can find them in the refrigerator section at Costco and online at g2gbar.com. Grab and go with the goodness as they have been since 2010. Right now on sale at Costco. We're going to catch up with Hall of Famer, Cardinals cornerback Kurt Warner. Looking forward to catching up with him and Manuch's Clipboard Report, as that's coming up as well. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Wright Toyota here on a Friday. Is it a football Friday?
Absolutely.
Damn right it is. We'll be right back.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can easily find the right home insurance for you, even if it's not with Progressive. But if you don't choose us, then sure, okay, it's not going to work out. We're not going to cry about it or stay awake wondering what our future together would have looked like. We can't get emotionally invested, even if it sounds like we are. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer allows you to easily compare home insurance rates and coverages in one place, even if it's not with us. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy. I love you. I shouldn't have said that.
Draft your fantasy team where the real MVPs are at Twin Peaks. Ice cold beverages, wall-to-wall TVs, legendary eats, and scenic views. This is how you fantasy draft. Commissioners score a $50 bonus card, plus $5 for every drafter at the lodge. Lock in your draft party now at TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/fantasy draft. Or better yet, just stop into one of 5 Valley Twin Peaks lodges. Twin Peaks, the ultimate draft day destination.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD-2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a record need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, did the NCAA go soft on Michigan? No vacated wins, no title stripped, just $30 million fine. They get to keep their championship banner from 2023. Fair punishment or just a slap on the wrist? We'll talk about that. D-backs, they blast past the Rockies 8-2 as Eddie Rodriguez, best outing in Arizona in a long time. They're probably his best as a Diamondback. And Cardinals. They're going to rest their vets. Will the rookie shine in Denver? We'll find out more on that as well tomorrow. You'll be able to hear that on the Mothership 98.7 and the Arizona Sports app. We'll have the D-backs here on ESPN 620. Manuch's Koopa report's coming up in about 10 minutes, and then Kurt Warner is scheduled to join us at 3:30. But our It's Your Call question of the day has to do with Michigan, of course, because this is a pretty big story today. Did the NCAA go too soft on Michigan? Now, your 4 choices are on our Twitter and Instagram page. You just search Roc and Manuch. Number 1, no vacated wins, no strip title. Number 2, $30 million, big question mark. That's pocket change for a Big Ten powerhouse. 3, if this doesn't cost you a championship, what does? And 4, dangerous precedent. Win now, pay later. State 48 Roofing, by the way, if you got hit yesterday, State 48 Roofing, I talked to Jason today, absolutely slammed. A lot of people are realizing they weren't ready, and now they're paying dearly. So if you need someone to come out and at least look at your roof, make sure it's okay, because we're going to get another storm tonight, then, reach out to State 48 Roofing. Just go on their website, stateroofing.com, state48roofing.com. You can follow them on social media. All you can do is search hashtag sexy roof status. So they're quite busy today, and I'm sure we'll be tomorrow and through the weekend. But at least you'll feel good knowing that you're set or not set, and you can save your money to get that new roof.
Roc, I talked about sort of the dangerous precedent's been set. Win now, pay later. Nothing to see here. Just fine. As you can go win a championship, cheat all you want. If you get caught, hey. But what we have here is this NCAA lack of teeth, lack of really meat to the bone on this, lacks so much that it's kind of like they had an opportunity. This is such an egregious way of going out there. 56 different occasions that this Stallion individual, this coach that had a small group, buying tickets, going to games, filming signals, stealing this and that, not only once or twice, and it happened over a 3-year period. How much more egregious, how much more premeditated does the NCAA need to say, look, this is totally premeditated. You had to have known Jim Harbaugh. You've had to know the rest of the staff. So in violation of that, oh, by the way, you have to win a national championship under the guise of all this going on. So we can only suspect that we're going to take your championship away. We're going to hammer you for 2 years, no bowl games. This is just nothing more than, guys, just pay us some money. You're Michigan. You're kind of one of the blue bloods, which you are. And they gave them a hall pass. They totally gave them a pass on this by not setting a positive precedent of what not to do in college football.
Well, Michigan doesn't feel that. They are officially announced their intention to appeal. In their statement, they are arguing that the Committee on Infractions, quote, made fundamental errors in interpreting the NCAA bylaws, and another quote, that a number of conclusions are directly contrary to the evidence or the lack of evidence in the record. So they are going to appeal for the financial impact of it, the $20+ million.
Yes.
The enforcement, the statements that have come out of Michigan is they don't like this cloud over their university and things of that sort. So if you haven't heard what came down, they had a $50,000 institutional fine, plus forfeit of postseason revenue for this year and next year, and an estimated 10% of the football budget and 10% of football scholarships. They got 4 years probation. They have 25% reduction in their official recruiting visits for this year and next year. They have a 14-week ban on recruiting communications during this probation period. They have a bunch of show calls penalties, which mean nothing. Coach Moore, the current coach, he got a 3-game suspension, 2 this year, 1 next year, and he got a 2-year show cause. Jim Harbaugh, the former coach, who all this happened under his watch, a 10-year show cause after the current one he's doing that he got during COVID.
Which is 4.
And then Connor Stallions, he got an 8-year, and Denard Robinson got a 3-year. So despite these violations, six level 1 infractions, the NCAA decided not to take the wins away, not to strip their national title, or impose a postseason ban. So nothing happened here. So this year they could go win a national championship.
It's interesting.
And you can make the argument that none of these players have anything to do with that. There are a few that were there when this happened in 2023.
Sure.
But not a lot.
Roc,
so you don't want to penalize the kids now.
It's as if Michigan is like a dark cloud for penalties. Look at the sexual penalties years ago they had with the trainer who's in jail forever with the sexual things he did with the girls' gymnastics. You've got another current violation of a coach that was finding pictures online of co-eds. And now Jim Harbaugh has been brought into those allegations. And then you got this. It's like, who the hell is running the fort or mining the fort there at Michigan? I know the 180 is gone. Cover-up was there as well, too. It's as if this Michigan feels like they've got carte blanche to do whatever they want. And nobody is overseeing them to see if they're staying on par. What the hell are they going to appeal? Well, you're allowed to go watch a game. The thing about the taping and being on the sideline and being disguised as another team member or somebody on that sideline, oh, I don't know. Is that right? Has that been in there? So I just think that their appeal is just to throw some shade on this for now. They're not going to win this appeal. As a matter of fact, they're going to look at this. They should be so lucky to get this slap on the wrist than trying to appeal what they have. They should say, you know what? Our bad. We won't do it again. We had a guy that was misinformed. He thought you could lie whatever you want and say he thought he could film. He had all these guys out there. We were just thinking we were just going to help these guys in the national championship when it's clearly in the NCAA bylaws as far as forward scouting, recruiting, opponents, all the above is clear in the bylaws. So good luck trying to appeal that. All that is just satisfying your alumni going, hey, our bad, and if you want to know what the hell we're doing, we're just trying to win. That's about the only appeal I could see happening here.
So I just, for the hell of it, I wanted to see what school has had the most infractions in college sports.
Well, I can say K-State. We had one major one when I was a junior there. Our infraction was we had too many scholarships passed out before my junior year. We had 13 extra passed out that were under the table. So we got popped, we got busted. None of us knew about it. So what happens is those 13 extra individuals that thought they were on full rides, they had to quit or pay for their own schooling, or they went home. So what happens? My senior year, we're banned from bowl games. We're on a 2-year probation. They banned us 13 scholarships. So they lowered the boom on us. So we're all dressed up, nowhere to go. I thought that was, harsher than what we've got here.
So the World Wide Web has SMU. They hold the record for the most NCAA violations. They have been cited for 10 major violations, all in football. Take a wild guess who number 2 is.
Oh, my goodness.
With 8.
Miami?
Arizona State.
Really?
Because you go back and you have to look at what happened with the COVID-19 recruiting violations from 20 to 22 with Herm, right? Mm-hmm. You have to also look at the assistant coach sanctions against Antonio Pierce and some of the others, right? You remember that?
Yep.
They had baseball violations back in 2024, 2029.
Yes.
They had a bunch of challenges there. All the recruiting calls and things that they were doing, improper recruiting activities. They had to vacate 44 of their 49 wins from the 2027 season. So they've had 8 or 9 major NCAA infractions. Some other schools on the list are Wichita State. They've had 8 across all sports. Tennessee just had 18 level 1 violations, covered 200 infractions. But I would have never guessed Arizona State.
No, I wouldn't have.
Especially that one.
No, I would not. And you could probably even go all the way back to the Frank Kush punching Jeff Rutledge era, 1978.
Or what was Bill Frieder? Didn't there some? Oh, that was a big one.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of some gambling going on back then.
The Headache Smith gambling. You know what? I hear some of these. I hear some of those infractions. You just level off. And then it's just the egregiousness, the premeditated way that Stallion went about it, just for over 3 years, Roc. And you win a championship during that. And you had mentioned the records in those 3 years. NCAA is going, well, we can put our finger on it. Well, look at the records. Look at prior to, and then look at the records when Stallion had all this going on and making sure the records prove it. You guys win a championship. So during that era, you would think that they'd pull the championship. I don't know if they'd pull the wins. They pull the championship.
I don't know. Were you in favor when they pulled all that stuff with Penn State?
No, I wasn't.
See, I don't like when they vacate. Because it's at the end of the day, you're going to remember, hey, Penn State won that national championship.
Yeah, exactly. They did.
Won that bowl game, whatever it was.
Yeah. And I think that was very egregious for them not to.
Probably why they didn't do this with Michigan.
I don't know, but there's a direct correlation here. The thing with Penn State was how many people on the staff Joe Paterno knew of Sandusky with the pedophile he was with these young boys. And they're like, okay, if you're aware of it, why didn't you turn him in? Because he stayed there over 4 or 5 years as a defensive coordinator, which helped you win those games. So there lies the allegations, but this is proof right here that this is directly correlated with their wins. Had to be correlated with their wins.
Hey, we are on YouTube. If you have a smart speaker, just say play ESPN 620 Phoenix. We got that all going on. Kyler's in year 7. We are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this Cardinals offense. Is it locked? Is it ready to go? Is it loaded? Manuch's clipboard report is next. We'll break it all down as we are live at Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Tired of the same old weekend routine? Then head to Putting World. Experience an elevated 18-hole golf adventure followed by delicious eats, handcrafted cocktails, and live music at our chef-driven restaurant, Bar 19. Enjoy daily specials and happy hour deals that are sure to keep your wallet happy. Birdies, bites, and brews await. Check out this week's live music schedule at puttingworld.com or just swing on by Putting World, located in the Scottsdale Promenade. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Turner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Turner and Roc is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patio to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers bring more air for less money. Rust-free, USA built, backed by over 40 years of cooling expertise. Available now at Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, Tractor Supply, and Northern Tool. For more information, go to staycool-products.com. Stay Cool Products. Form, function, value. Get yours today and beat the heat.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
Don't miss exclusive conversations with Derek Hall, Tori Lavello, Mike Hazen, and more weekly on Arizona Sports. D-backs decision makers from the team's front office join Wolf and Luke Wednesday mornings at 11:45. Team president Derek Hall joins Bickley and Murata Thursday mornings at 7:45. The skipper joins Burns and Gambo Friday afternoons at 2:30. Never miss another D-backs conversation when you subscribe to the Arizona Sports YouTube channel. Arizona Sports 98.7 and the Arizona Sports app, the local sports leader and the home of Arizona Diamondbacks baseball.
Time for Manuch to do what he does best. Hold the clipboard.
As Manucci takes, slides, hit, keeps the ball 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, and he's hauled down from behind at the 10-yard line. Manucci was wondering would he run out of gas or run out of field, and he did a little of both.
Manuch dives into last weekend's quarterback play across the NFL. It's Manuch's Clipboard Report, exclusively on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
We're set in the gun, looking left, now throwing a screen to the right, DiMercato. He's to the second level, first down or more. 30, 25, 20. DiMercato, a lane at the 10. Slips out of a tackle, 5, and he is gone. Amari DiMercato, a 43-yard catch and run, as the Cardinals caught the Kansas City defense sleeping on our running back screen. James Conner sprints down to the end zone, celebrating with Amari DiMercato, who just cashed it in.
All right, obviously with the call there on Arizona Sports, as we turn our attention to this week as well, but recap a little bit of last week as we get into Manuch's Clipboard Report. Did you get your new Sharpies in for this year?
Got my new Sharpies all good to go.
All right,
Notes going.
All right.
YouTube's up, ready to go. Looking for all that quarterback play for the National Football.
Let's start with Kyler. Here he is in year 7. We had an opportunity to see some of him last week against Kansas City. What did you see? Does he look more confident? Does he look with more control, or none of the above?
No, I think he does. I mean, the third year, the same offensive coordinator, number one.
Okay.
He knows the system inside and out. I thought he did a good job of stepping up in the pocket. looking to throw versus take off. The one errant throw, I think he understands that when you play fake right and roll left, and you're looking to throw guys coming from your right to left, you got to keep your eyes to the outside, to the inside. And what he did is he peeked outside, didn't see the cornerback jump inside. Therein lies. He threw it right to the cornerback. I think I forget the kid's name that he threw it to. But those are some of the things you have to learn is when you're throwing inside the red zone as a quarterback, you better make damn sure guys are open, or you're throwing them to open, or you make sure that if your guy doesn't get it, nobody does. And you see that mistake with Kyler periodically. He just kind of forces it, doesn't see somebody. But I think he'll learn from that. But I am seeing a little more confidence. I'm seeing more control of the offense. He understands it. He's getting the ball out quicker. And I think that's going to have to be his biggest strength this year is more consistency, getting bigger plays. They got the ball down the field a couple times to Trey McBride. They got a nice little chunk play to Marvin Harrison Jr. So his average, I think, was like 11 yards on average as far as throwing the ball was concerned. I think we'll see more of that this year from Kyler because I think he'll have confidence in his receiving core. And then with Trey McBride, he's going to be a big play guy for him this year.
All right, so he's a legitimate playmaker, or is he just going to be a safety net for Kyler?
Trey McBride is legit. I feel he's one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. He runs well. He blocks well. He's aggressive. He runs good routes. He catches the ball. He's a little faster than a lot of people think. But one thing about Trey McBride, the way he catches the ball with his hands and tucks it away, you're not going to see guys knock the ball out of his hands very often. I mean, he's going to make the big play, yards after contact. I think they might have him curtail his hurdling like he's done the first couple of years. That's a big way to get hurt.
Yeah.
But I think that yards after contact, they have to utilize him more in the red zone. They just have to. Now, I know they tried. Sometimes he gets the double team. So your play there, Roc, is he legit? Yeah. Last year was legit. They were double teaming him inside or double covering him inside the red zone because they didn't feel Marv Harrison was going to be a threat or that a Dortch was going to be a threat or that you had your other receivers were going to be a threat at that standpoint. So I think that he's legit. So he's going to get more attention than maybe Marvin Harrison Jr.
Doing our Manuch's clipboard report here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Let's stay with the receiving core. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. as your number one. Who's your number two?
Well, I'm gonna.
If you're the coach, who you make a number two from what you've seen? I know it's limited what you've been able to watch.
You know, it's hard to say.
Tell you?
My gut tells me it should be Wilson, but it's Dortch. Yeah, it's Dortch. Dortch is the more consistent. He's in slot. He can run away from guys, get off coverage. He's going to be your number two guy. And as a matter of fact, at the end of the year, it was pretty much McBride, Dortch, and then Marvin Harrison. Now, I think Marvin Harrison will take that jump this year.
Yeah, knowing
knowing the routes, knowing the kind of physicality you're going to face versus defensive backs, and then that timing between he and Kyler will be a lot better. So I would like to see Michael Wilson his third year. Here's second, third round pick that I feel is underachieved. He's been injured, but he's got to step up. But the more consistent one, to answer your question, is Greg Dortch. So I think the pecking order, I hate to say this, is McBride, Harrison, Dortch, and then the rest of them. Now, the thing about Trey McBride that Kyler's got to be very aware of is just read the defense. Don't look to go McBride, Harrison, and Dortch. I think he's aware that he makes his reads, but his safety net, his guy is always going to be Trey McBride. Or it could be his check down to whether it be Benson, whether it be James Conner. But there's some things that Kyler has got to do this year. Read the defense. Take what they give you. If it's 3 or 4 throws to Dortch to get games going, so be it. Don't try to force issues with Marv Harrison Jr. because he's supposed to be the go-to guy. No, just read the defense. If it's McBride here or Dortch or Marvin Harrison, just let the defense come to you. And then if you have to take a shot or two, try to stretch the field Marvin Harrison Jr., you need to do that. But you got to be successful doing that. So I will just say Harrison, if it's receivers-wise, I'm going to say after Harrison, I'd say Greg Dortch should be Michael Wilson.
All right, as we look at those running backs, you brought up Connor, you brought up Benson. We know Connor's the guy. How much do you think we'll see of Trey Benson, a guy who was a high draft pick, Florida State, before that he was at Oregon? What do you see? A guy that could take the ball more?
Yeah, I think we saw the thing that was key for the running backs was, as you heard coming back with the DeMarcado touchdown screen pass. Trey Benson had a screen pass for big yardage. Yeah, I think Benson, DeMarcado will be the James Conner, DeMarcados. DJ Dallas, I think he's going to be more of just a return guy coming into this year. But I think when you look at the rushing side of things, even Michael Carter ran hard. But I just think that Trey Benson, I want to see more home runs out of the guy this year. James Conner is a good, hard runner, decent speed. I want to see Benson break the line of scrimmage and take it to the house.
I mean, don't you think, Benson now in his second year could be the guy that could?
Yeah, he could be a starter.
He could.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
he just needs to get the ball more.
Yeah, I think that if Connor goes down, Benson will be the guy. Then DeMarcado, and then whether it's Carter or DJ Dallas. But yeah, I think that you have to almost plan. The way I look at it is you almost have to plan that Connor's going to probably get dinged and nicked up, right? He might miss a game or two because he runs hard. So I think that Benson, I think that DeMarcado, I think that Carter will be that group of guys that can pick it up. But yeah, I think that Benson does. He runs hard, but you got to remember, James Conner's got a push to him for his side with 6'2", 215. He's very elusive. So I think that Trey Benson, this will be a year to kind of prove that pick they made on last year is a guy that can take it to the house at any particular time.
Are you going into this season and you are looking at this wide receiver corps and you're saying they didn't do much, they didn't do anything? And is this something we're going to talk about, in October? In November, where they are not scoring a lot of points because there's no one that can catch the ball, and Kyler doesn't have enough weapons.
Well, I think if from weaponry standpoint,
it's not good on paper.
Well, this is the best Kyler's had in his 3 years. This is you look at the tight end.
3 years or 7 years?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, during the Gannon
era.
Yeah, the Gannon era.
That's fair.
This is the best he's had in the Gannon era. Now, I'd have to look back at some of the weapons he had his first 5 years or first 4 years before Gannon got here. But right now, this is the best supporting cast. Now, my whole contention has been the entire offseason. Where is the home run hitter? Where's the 4.25, 4.3 guy that can take it over the top? Now, not that Marvin Harrison Jr. can't do that, but he doesn't have the speed to do that. Where's the Tyreek Hill of this team, where a guy could catch a quick slant and take it to the house, or could take a deep seam, or could run a go route and get it? I call it get a quick score once in a while, not have to grind it out for 6, 7, 8 plays on every drive you have. Now, that's not so bad because you give your defense a rest, but every once in a while you got to take a shot and be successful. That's the biggest thing for this team. I don't think they address that home run hitter in this offense.
All right, the Hall of Famer Kurt Warner is going to join us next, right after Matt gives you the latest Wright Toyota ESPN 620 update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Wright Toyota ESPN 620 update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The Diamondbacks stayed hot with an 8-2 win over the Rockies last night, their 9th victory in the last 12 games. Arizona is now just 4.5 games back of the NL wildcard spot. Tonight in Colorado, it'll be Brandon Pfaadt on the mound for the D-backs, while Tanner Gordon gets the start for the Rockies. First pitch is at 5:40 p.m. with pregame coverage starting at 5 on 98.7 FM and streaming on the Arizona Sports app. Meanwhile, the Cardinals will head to Denver to take on the Broncos in their second preseason game, giving backups and young players a chance to get some reps and make an impression before the regular season starts. This update is brought to you by Wright Toyota, where they've got the right deal for everyone. Right on the corner, right on the price, Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner joins us next.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G Protein Bar, the ultimate grab-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section or explore amazing flavors at G2Gbar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G Protein Bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Beat the heat with AC Experts. Is your air conditioning ready for summer? Don't sweat it. Our certified technicians are here to keep your home cool and comfortable. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, we've got you covered. Enjoy staycations in a perfectly chilled home. For a limited time, take advantage of our special discounts on new AC installations. Call AC Experts today at 480-386-6980 or visit acexpertsaz.com to schedule your appointment. Stay cool, Arizona.
Hey, Manuch here. As a former NFL quarterback, I've taken a few hits, but nothing worse than bad underwear. Sweaty, itchy, riding up. Now that's a daily sack nobody needs. The crew at Cho Boys sent me their boxers and boxer briefs, and I'm telling you, these are the real MVP. The bamboo pairs, game changers. Cool, soft, breathable, like calling the perfect audible for your lower half. Even out in this Arizona heat, Cho Boys keeps me comfortable and focused. I've swapped out the old gear. Now I'm Team Cho Boys, and the whole squad at ESPN 620 is too. Try one pair, you'll feel the difference. Hit up chillboys.com, use code ESPN, and get 20% off your first order. That's chillboys.com for underwear that protects the pocket and keeps you cool in crunch time.
Chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A. absent. Julio M. absent.
These absences are often due to the absence of crucial needs like food, transportation, and healthcare.
Olivia H. absent. Preston L. absent.
But site coordinators from communities and schools connect kids to the resources they need so they show up prepared and ready to learn.
Jacob O. present.
Visit communitiesandschools.org. Being present matters.
Wrinkles, gray hair, and hearing loss are common signs of getting older. But being short of breath, having tightness in your chest, coughing, and wheezing are not. If you are experiencing these symptoms, you may be one of the millions of people who are living with a condition called COPD but don't know it. Early diagnosis and treatment can add years of better breathing to your life. For more information, talk to your doctor and visit copdfoundation.org today.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Second and 10. Warner has time. Fitzgerald into Steeler territory. 30, 20, 10. Arizona has the lead.
Super Bowl. I heard that one. Where we pull that one out of? Kurt Warner now joins us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. What was that call, Kurt, to Fitz in that Super Bowl?
So we called plays based on half field concepts. So that was a under concept to his side. So he had a little 5-yard under. Anquan Bolden was over the top, and he normally had like a 12 to 14 yard in. But if we're having man coverage played against us, he had the ability to break it out instead of in. So Pittsburgh was actually running a 2-man coverage. So man underneath, a safety up over the top. So Anquan actually took his defender outside. The safety actually went outside with Anquan on the deeper route. So when Larry caught that quick under, that's why there was nobody in the middle of the field as he was able to split the defense and score the touchdown.
So, Kurt, this is Roc. I obviously didn't play in the NFL like Manuch. So how would you dumb it down? Just a slant or a 10-yard button hook? Or
we would just say just a 5-yard in route. So just pushing up to 5 yards and running in. Anquan was pushing up to 12 yards and running out, and that's what it looked like. Yes.
Very good. That's good. That's perfect.
Kurt, we always great to catch up with you, bud. We talk about the preseason, and you look at Super Bowls, and Roc and I were up there watching you guys the Super Bowl. You're up there in Flagstaff and watching it, and watching you guys practice. And then the other two Super Bowls, two with the St. Louis Rams. Does it start in preseason, Kurt? Did you have a pretty good feel, or was there something about that team, whether it's the Cardinals or the two St. Louis Ram team, that you could kind of feel something special coming on, or did it just evolve as the season went on?
Yeah, I think every team is different. My first team in '99, we were 4-12 the year before, and although we had added some talent, and thought we could be a decent team, I don't think we really knew until probably after week 4, where we had played the 49ers and they had beaten us 17 straight times. And so we kind of knew that was a marker for us. Like, if we were going to be good, we had to win our division. We had to beat the 49ers. And we beat them pretty handedly after, in that game in week 4. And I think that's when that team kind of turned the corner and said, okay, maybe we have something special. And then, going back to the Super Bowl 2 years later in 2001, we went into the season going, we're supposed to win the Super Bowl. Like, that team was built. We were really good. We were the greatest show on turf. We expected to win. And then you could come to the Cardinals, and I don't know if we really, felt we were a Super Bowl team until we got to the Super Bowl. It was a team that was good. We felt like we could make a push. We could win our division. We could get the playoffs. But there was a run there late in the season. I think 4 of our last 6 games, we played 4, playoff teams in those 6 games, and every one of them destroyed us. Like, everyone, it was a 21-point margin, the games that we lost. New England blew us out. Minnesota, beat us. I think the Giants, we maybe had played the Giants there too. And so, although we knew we were in the playoffs, we were getting beat, really badly by these playoff teams. And so, we kind of shifted it the last couple games of the season and felt like we were, moving in the right direction. But I don't think we really knew how good we could be, or if we could really make a run. It was kind of game by game. You beat Atlanta and you're like, okay, all right, we got one. And then we're going down to Carolina, and we had played them earlier in the year. And so I think we were confident in that one. And obviously we blew them out. And the confidence just started to build, week after week after week. And, playoffs is just about giving yourself a chance, right? Being able to advance to the next week and then playing for 60 minutes, because anybody can win in a 60-minute game. But yeah, that team was completely different because we had ups and downs, times where we were good, times where we were bad. And I don't think we were ever really convinced how good we could be until we were in those moments and we rose to the challenge.
And I guess my question is because a lot of fans seem to poo-poo the preseason, whereas as a player, former player myself, it's like, no, guys are focused. It's just a matter of how they're focused. So when you look at preseason nowadays and you cover so many of these teams, is there a difference when you go cover the Chiefs? Is there a difference when you go cover the Eagles? Is there a difference when you cover those successful teams, at least in your eyes, Kurt?
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think just going in with a level of confidence, like the Chiefs team, they expect to be in the Super Bowl. And so the way they approach training camp is completely different. It's really what training camp should be, is like, this is preparation time. This is time for us to kind of see our different guys and figure out what we're good at this year. Because we know we're going to be good. We know we're going to win games. We know we're going to compete. Now it's really a feeling out period, or a growing period off of maybe you had some young guys the year before. Now it's taking that next step. And then there's other teams that go to training camp and their focus is solely, hey, we weren't very good last year. This is where we have to improve. And so you're focusing on a specific area or a specific thing that you have to do, or a certain position. And so a lot of it is different depending on, who the team is and where they're at. And do you have a new coaching staff? And all those different things is what training camp is all about. But obviously you want to be a team like the Chiefs. You want to be a team like the Eagles that expect to be playing for a championship. And now training camp has its, the true essence of what training camp is it's training. It's practicing to get better at your craft, so you can be as good as possible when the season starts. You may not have as many chinks in your armor that you've got to clean up, It truly is just preparation. And as crazy as it sounds, because you never really have, you never really want to go into the season going, oh, we expect to already be in the playoffs. But there are teams that are playing and expecting to be in the playoffs. And they'll even use the beginning part of the season to feel out, who they're going to be and what they're going to become throughout the year, that it doesn't have to feel like a finished product right off the bat. I think Tom Brady and the Patriots were always notorious for this, is that they would always seem to start slow as they were trying to figure out who are their pieces and what were they going to be this year and what were going to be the key components to this team's run. But they always got to, week 8, week 9, week 10, and all of a sudden they were just rounding into form and playing their best football going into the playoffs. So, training camp can be a different, you can have a different perspective and different goals in training camp depending on what type of team you are going in.
He's Kurt Warner here on ESPN Radio Phoenix. Kurt, congratulations, first of all. Another job as the league analyst for the first ever YouTube live stream, which – have you been to Brazil before? Chiefs, Chargers.
I've never been to Brazil. This will be my first time. And unfortunately, I won't get to stay long. We got a kickoff show on the NFL Network on Tuesday. Then I fly in. I'm there for just a couple days. The game is on Friday. And then I'm right back because I got to do our show again on Sunday. So I won't get to experience a whole lot of it. But I'm excited to obviously represent YouTube and the league in this way. And obviously, these are special moments when you get to introduce our game to a new set of fans. It's going to be an incredible game with the Chiefs and the Chargers and all that's riding on that matchup. So I'm extremely excited about the opportunity and looking forward to at least seeing whatever I can of Brazil in the couple of days that I'm there.
You got a heck of a game. The Chiefs and the Chargers got two outstanding quarterbacks, two outstanding teams, year 2 of Jim Harbaugh. And when you look at Justin Herbert under this new regime, it seems like they've taken some of those things off his plate with their running game. But where do you see the growth of a Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh on the Chargers? Is it going to be ground and pound and try to get there because they fell short last year where they're expected to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how, Coach Harbaugh wants to play and coach. He wants to play good defense. He wants to run the football. He wants the throwing piece to be a complementary piece. But that's a hard thing to say when you've got Justin Herbert and go, hey, we're just going to make you a complementary piece.
Right.
A guy that set all kinds of records and has incredible talent. So I could see there being an uptick there. But I do think a lot of it will depend on personnel who do they get on the outside, because that was kind of, I guess a lot of people looked at that as maybe a weakness last year was, their weapons on the outside, and maybe it was hard to throw the football because of that. But, Lamb McConkey had a great first year. They're going to look for him to grow. Brought in a couple guys in the offseason, tight end, and Keenan Allen, I believe, is back. So I think they're probably in this period right now in training camp going, okay, what are we in the passing game? Can we depend a little bit more on the passing game and Justin Herbert, even though I don't think they want to. I think Jim Harbaugh wants to play the style that he's always played. And I think they want to be able to win in those areas and then know that they always have an ace in their pocket with Justin Herbert, that if they have to go swing for swing and they have to throw it and they have to score 35 points, they're going to feel ultra confident that they can do that with Justin Herbert. I just think they've got to develop their offense a little bit more to get more big plays. I felt like last year they struggled to get the big plays. And that is often such a difference maker in the NFL, is that you've got to take 10 and 12 play drives every time to score touchdowns. That's really hard to do. No matter how good a team you are, it's really hard to do. So they've got to be able to find a way to introduce, I think, more big plays into their offense.
Hey, last question for you. You've worked with a lot of quarterbacks, and one in particular that I've worked with for a while. Getting them ready for the National Football League. Tyler Shuck has a chance to start as a rookie. Cam Ward looks like he's going to start as a rookie. Then you looked at Jaden Daniels last year for the Commanders. He did start as a rookie. He was very successful. What advice do you have for a Tyler Shuck or Cam Ward? And what were some of the things that they could learn from watching what Jaden Daniels did in his first year with the Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing when you're a young guy is you have to go in saying just play the game. Play the game that's in front of you. Allow the defense to dictate what you do with the football. Is oftentimes you get young guys that are trying to do too much and trying to carry too much of the load and trying to make the big throw all of the time. Just play the game. And I thought that's what Jaden Daniel did so well last year, was he played the game. And there were times that he didn't see it. And instead of trying to force it in there, he pulled it down and he settled for a 3-yard run, or he threw the ball away. And he made a lot of big plays, don't get me wrong, but he played the game and he allowed the game to come to him. And that was what was so impressive. You didn't see him making a lot of bad decisions and trying to jam the football into tough situations. He played the game, and if he had to live to throw it away or to punt or whatever that was, he did that. And I think that's a hard thing for young guys to do because they're always trying to prove something. Prove why I was the number 1 overall pick, or Tyler going, hey, let me prove, why I belong to be the starter here in New Orleans. And when you do that, oftentimes you press, or you try to jam throws in there, or you're trying to make every play, and that's when oftentimes things go against you. So that would just be my biggest piece of advice. Just play the game in front of you. Trust what you see. Rip it if it's there. If it's not, pull the ball down, throw it away, and live for another down.
And how excited are you to give that advice? But your son, E.J. Warner, going to be starting for Fresno State, is going to have this year. And how excited are you for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to watch your kids play, and especially, at that level. I'm excited for him going into his senior season. An incredible run, even through some challenges in his college career, and done so many really, really good things that I'm excited to see him back out there. He's a really good player. He sees it really well. He's really accurate. And you're just hoping that the team all comes together and gels and they can have a winning season and they can have their hand at either a conference championship or playing in a bowl game. And then he can kind of finish on a high note from his college career. That's really what, anybody's hoping. Any dad is hoping for their kid. But I enjoy watching him every time I get to see him go between the lines. He's a really, really impressive young man.
Kurt, we always appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much, as always. Have a great week.
You got it, guys. Great to talk to you.
Kurt Warner joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, ESPN Radio Phoenix. Always, always great to catch up with him. If you missed it, it's on our YouTube. It's on the Arizona Sports app. It'll be up there on our podcast as well. And today, this segment is courtesy of Wright Toyota. Right on the price, right on selection. Always the right dealership, located right here in Scottsdale and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. They have had the right deal for a lot of people for a lot of years. And right now you can check out their full inventory of pre-owned certified vehicles for under $15,000. Everything's online at wrighttoyota.com. We have our learner row one call. That's all. Are we really going to play the moment Michigan won the Natty? Come on. You're a Cowboy fan and a Michigan fan there, CC?
I'm not a Michigan fan, but trust me, it's going to set you up.
Oh, okay. All right, good. All right, that's next. That's next.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer-paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Remember when things were built to last? Well, at Arizona Patio Furniture, we've been handcrafting premium outdoor furniture and custom cushions for over 15 years, right here in Phoenix, using 100% American-made materials. We build it, we sell it, we guarantee it with our exclusive 5-year-plus worry-free warranty. Visit any one of our Three Valley showrooms or go to ArizonaPatioFurniture.com. Mention this ad for free delivery and setup in Maricopa County. Arizona Patio Furniture. Some things are still made like they used to be.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Roc is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Murder and Row is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Murder and Row is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Murder and Row is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Let's go!
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
It's a polarizing figure. There are people out there that believe that whatever Michigan does is tainted. It's up to you to decide, but hail, hail Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023.
Even Chris Fowler knows it's not legit.
They're being asterisked by that championship.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Big story today. If you missed it, NCAA went real soft on Michigan as they didn't get a postseason ban, didn't lose any W's, didn't lose their banner. All they did was get some fines, which is about $30 million, which, it's Michigan. It's not a big deal. Their head coach gets a couple years of show cause. It's got to miss 3 games, Central and Nebraska this year, and then next year it's Western Michigan when they're playing in Germany. Coach Harbaugh, he's gone, but he's already been on a 4-year show cause, and he's got another 10 that's going to be added. And then the Connor Stallions, he got an 8-year show clause. He's the one that orchestrated the so-called KGB network as they cheated. And 13 schools, they did their due diligence and stole signs
56 times, not once, not twice, 56 times over a 3-year period. And it was, to your point, very well orchestrated. They call themselves the KGB. They had guys going out. He bought tickets for them to go to the games. They get on sidelines, or they'd be in the stands. They'd be filming. I mean, it was premeditated, orchestrated, planned ahead, and all that information during those 3 years. By the way, pretty successful teams. By the way,
they all have double-digit wins.
Double-digit wins.
Big bowl games.
One of Natty's we just heard.
Yeah, where they didn't win any games really the year before. Here's the thing. When you look at the impact this year, what it will have is Coach Moore, he'll miss weeks 3 and 4 at home against Central and at Nebraska. If they really wanted to do something, they would have took game 2 away, week 2, that is. That's at Oklahoma, which is Moore's alma mater. That would have been
ouch.
All right, that would have helped a little bit.
That'd have been good. That'd have been.
And then they open against New Mexico. Okay, so and then they have at Oklahoma. Then it's Central Michigan and Nebraska. So and then next year the season opener will be Western Michigan, as I mentioned. That'll be in Frankfort, Michigan. So again, the fallout, $30 million is what's being projected in fines, 4-year probation, some show cause on a bunch of guys, but no vacated wins, no bowl ban, nothing like that.
Slap on the wrist, Rob.
It's fine. But what would make people happy or content? What could they have done? We all don't want to see championships taken away.
No, we don't. But
we don't.
But if there was a direct cause, which they probably could really prove.
Exactly. How could you?
Yeah. There's got to be, you know what, I would say what make people feel happy is you did this 3 years successful. You won a natty. We pretty much feel that had a big part of you winning the national championship, even though
you went undefeated.
You went undefeated. But I think there's got to be besides a large fine, got to be a large recruiting stipulation in there. You know, maybe and they did do some of that, 12 weeks worth. Hold back 10 to 15 scholarships. I think you ban them from 2 years of bowl games. That takes them out of it. Then I think for anybody that even thinks of doing this again or cheats or doing anything like this has got to have some deterrent to it. You rob a bank, you're going to serve minimum 20 years in prison.
Okay, but
right?
not the kids that are playing the game.
Okay, but it's interesting, but
what can you really do, Manuch? I mean, you don't want to ban these kids this year for a bowl game. They have nothing to do with it.
Well, then they need it. Then that school, it's unfortunate, needs to think about that. And when I was playing my junior year, we had nothing to do with the 13 extra scholarships, and we got banned for 2 years to go to a bowl game. We got docked. Our team got docked.
But was that fair? No, I bet you guys sat around and you're bitching and moaning and saying, why are we getting penalized? And we had nothing to do with it.
Exactly right. But we were the residue of something that a school did. And I just think that something, all right, if you don't take the championship away or whatever, then you need to hit them in the recruiting field. You give the 2-year probation.
Does it really
What's
matter?
That mean?
Come on, man. Just be honest. The recruiting. You got NIL now. You got transfer portals. The recruiting thing is still a big deal.
I'd like to jump in here, fellas, because I do want to.
You didn't ring the bell. You didn't ring the bell. You got to properly ring the bell if you're going to come on the show.
Ring the bell first.
Let me see if I can find my bell real quick.
How do you not know? It should be right there. There's only one bell.
Because I have other things I'm doing. Now let me jump in, all right, fellas?
Yeah,
what I'm going to say about the recruiting is it does actually play a huge deal. If they do put a ban on them and they take away the chance of winning a national title, I could tell you right now, even with the difference in NIL, a lot of kids are going to take that in consideration. If Michigan couldn't compete for a title for the next 3 years, that would be real big damage to that program. And that's kind of the punishment I think a lot of people were looking for.
Okay, and that's fair. I accept that. However, my point is, if you're not out there recruiting, you're in the transfer portal.
Yeah, but
you can feel the team in the transfer portal.
Okay, but here's the thing. What we're talking about is banning the amount of recruits you can bring in every year. If it's you're banned from 13 or 15 recruits, you can't go into the portal. You got to try to keep what you have. That means that you can't. They're going to limit.
Well, then they got to limit how much they can do in the transfer portal.
So if there's 20 guys they want to bring in, they can only technically bring in 13. That's what we're talking about.
But you're getting 13 guys that played at a D1 school somewhere, rather than 13 kids that they're recruiting out of Gilbert.
Pay your fine. Nothing to see here.
It really isn't. I mean, there's really nothing you can do anymore.
It's not.
But I do get the point where if you cut recruiting, and then plus if a recruit, if you find out you can't go to a national championship or you can't be in a big bowl game, you're not going to go there.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's not fair to the kids now.
I get it. I understand that. But you know what? It's been going on for years. It's an unfortunate part of it. But
hey, special thanks to Kurt Warner and Tom Candiotti today, as well as Scott Spreitzer. If you missed anything, the Arizona Sports app, go to Roc Manuch. Everything's up about what we got coming up here. Monday Night Football at Biggs and Peoria, and what we're doing Thursdays at Twin Peaks. A lot going on. Everything's up on our website at Roc Manuch. Not to mention the fan pickup and the getaway to LA to see the Cards and Rams. So a lot going on. It all starts next week.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So the kids' back to school lists were extra long.
Extra